This is the XNC Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, XNC Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Mag smoking weed? We're on the air.
I made eggplant parm. It was beautiful. Check out that one. It was a cooking video.
Yeah. We're Mag. How you doing? Welcome to the XNC Podcast. And I was just being funny. Yeah, Mag knows we're on the air. But the thing he said to me right before we went green was, I put up a new video, and yeah, I'm smoking weed. And then he's talking about eggplant parmesan.
What? No, I wasn't. No, it was eggplant parmesan. No, it's I posted it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the chat. I'm glad to be back. It's great. I got a few choice words about Gaz, but we'll get into that in a second. But yes, I posted a new video of me making some eggplant parmesan. So it was actually a lot of fun. And I'm going to be doing some more videos like that. It's if people enjoy them, I'll keep doing them. So we'll see how it goes. Now, before we get started on the show, Gaz, you don't think I listened to the beginning of the show last week? Right? And then Colt says, Gaz, you're not Mag. And Gaz says, Mag is dead. And I'm like, okay, Gollum, I got you now. So I'm like, okay. So anyways, I'm watching the show. Listen, Gaz, the only thing that was dead was your performance. Okay, 8 minutes into the show, I fell asleep. It was like watching an ASMR video. I'm like, what's going? You know what? Here's another one. Gaz, you're a lawyer. One of your 4 major food groups is cocaine. You should do a few bumps before you do the show. It would have woke you up a little bit. Anyhow, and the last thing I was going to say about Gaz, by the way, is I saw him post a picture in Germany, and it says 4 a.m. still looking for sauce. If that's a fancy way of just saying hookers, just say so, Gaz. It's 4 a.m. and you're in Germany. They've got brothels all over the place. €100, you're all good. Anyways, Colt, let's get to the show.
Yeah, those 100-year-old hookers in Germany are,
What's up, Timmy?
Shout out to the chat and everybody. I feel like are we really live?
We are live.
It is something, isn't it? Yeah, Meg, I spent like a good amount of the show last week telling people to be nice to Gaz and be nice to you and give us good constructive criticism. And you come on here and just blast him right out the gate.
Cold. I was casually watching the video from a porch, and all I heard was, "He's dead." And I was like, what? He couldn't just say Mag is on vacation? No, he said, and then I'm like, that's it. And then I went straight to the joke books. I had to get it. Chat, you guys are awesome. I love you guys. Thank you. And apparently one of them did see my videos. He said, you have a good singing voice. Thank you, Kingfish. Yeah, I sang in one of the videos. I might be doing some more of that too, man. Having a lot of fun. Listen, I came to the conclusion, Colt, this happens every time I go on vacation, right? You pull back, sit down, and then you realize what's really important in this world is your family, your friends.
I thought you were going to say me.
You're a friend, for crying out loud. Your family, your friends.
Yeah.
The experiences, the time you spend together and all that kind of stuff. But what it also does is it gives you time to reflect. And then I started thinking about like this whole social media thing and, with all the screaming and this and that and the fighting. You know what, man? I'm just going to start doing stuff that makes me feel happy, and that means like playing games, making Pony Master videos, singing, cooking. I'm going to just release a smorgasbord of all kinds of videos of whatever the heck I want to do and just whatever's fun, man, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. We're having fun. Speaking of fun, let's get into the show, buddy.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we got a show. We could just hang out here with our good friends. We got over 500 people are here. And yeah, to be official, this is the XNC Podcast, and this is a weekly podcast. Thanks for tuning in if you don't know who the heck we are, but this over here, wait, which way? Yeah, this over here is Mag, middle-aged game guy, a good friend of mine. He hails from Canada, and I'm in North America's United States. And we do this news show every week, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about Starfield very carefully. Mag's going to do most of the talking. We're going to talk about the craziness that's going on with that. We've got some news and leaks for Xbox games. We got Gamescom stuff. Like, Xbox is like finally reeling the engine, revving the engine up and getting going.
Let's go.
We're going to talk about all that. And before we even got the show started, our buddy Kung Fu Hot Dog left a 10-pound super and said, to quote Tin Lizzy. Now, before I start this, because I just thought of this just now, I've been told most of my life that the official pronunciation of this band from Ireland is not Thin, but Tin Lizzy. And I don't know if that's like to harken back to how someone from Ireland would say the name of the band. But he says, to quote Tin Lizzy, the boys are back. Love the Starfield leaks, which made me think what Mass Effect Andromeda could have been. Darren Harris, the guy who uploaded the 45 minutes, the leaker. We're going to talk about him early in the show. He says it's hilarious. Thanking Todd. Yes, we're going to get into that. Mass Effect Andromeda is a game that nobody really loved, but I replayed it in January of this year because I was like chomping at the bit for a sci-fi epic game, even if it was Mass Effect Andromeda. And Mag, once I just told myself, look, the characters suck. The rest of the game was so enjoyable. Like, after replaying it, I would give it like an 8 something. Like, it's really, really good. But yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game too. You know what? I played it after the fact. I didn't play it when it launched right away. And I came across it, whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. And I actually was enjoying it. I didn't see what all the hate was about. But you know what? I was thinking what it might have been is some of it might have been because of the way that the Mass Effect trilogy ended and the way that some people didn't like. I'm not even going to say spoilers in case somebody else, I'm not going to say what happened, but just in case someone has never come across it or played it yet, I won't spoil that for them. However, I will say that the ending was a bit to be desired by a lot of people. I didn't have any problem with it, but a lot of people did. They went back, changed the ending, but it was too late. So it left a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths. And then this game came out with no Commander Shepard, right? And then I think people were still upset about that one, and then it got up. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, the new one came out, they're like, "Barn." And so I think it got a lot of bad rap from the beginning. Like, for example, when a movie comes out, a lot of it is based off of its predecessor, right? If the predecessor did well, the next movie, even if the new movie is trash, it'll still do reasonably well based on the performance of the last film, right? Because it carries over. And they're like, the last one was awesome.
Carry it. Yeah.
Right. And same thing with Matt. So I think what happened here is that the Mass Effect 3 left a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths, and all of a sudden we get to Andromeda. And you know what? I gave it a good shot. I played the game, finished it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fine.
Oh, the combat's fantastic. It just wasn't serious enough. Like, it was just too casual, like, hey, kind of like Fallout 4's main character did. But we're not here to talk about Andromeda, but it is a really good game. And right now, I am working toward starting tomorrow, I think, I'll be building a review for Starfield that goes out, I think, noon on Thursday. And then there's a lot going. This has been the most psychotic week. And publicly, I'd like to apologize to my family, as I've been in this game room for probably 8 hours every of my waking time. I think as normal humans, we're awake 16 to 18 hours. And I'm basically go in the house to go to the bathroom and eat. And then I just go back so I can stay on task. But anyway, sorry for that. But this coming weekend, we're going to PAX in Seattle, and Miles Dampierre is going to be there. Samurai KBG is going to be there. I think King David's going to be there. Lord Cognito, bless him for getting better. He's supposed to be going as well.
Yeah, they usually
there's
make
a
it
lot
out to the PAX.
Yeah. I mean, they go to the one over in New York where they are, and they fly over here. But yes, it's been very, very busy, and then there's a lot coming up for Xbox, and I feel like I'm kind of out of sorts. We're just kind of crazy at the beginning of the show, but thank you all for being here, and you can check out the show at your leisure on Spotify and Apple, Google Podcasts. Let's talk about what Kung Fu Hot Dog brought up. Let's talk about the Starfield leaker, and of course, I'll have to kind of be careful about what I say or how I approach some of these Starfield topics, like super careful, but Mag has carte blanche, so
yes, well, let me tell you.
What's the story that you know? Because you were kind of on vacation when this, or maybe you were just getting back. The Starfield
Let me tell you
leaker.
something. All right. First of all, the Starfield leaker was me. I just wanted to get that out of my system right away. Also, I've already preemptively rated the game a 1 out of 10, and I'll tell you why. I gave it a 1 out of 10 because I walked for 9.5 minutes, and then at the 10-minute mark, I hit an invisible wall. And as soon as I hit the invisible wall, I said, that's it, game over, 1 out of 10. Went straight over to Metacritic. Metacritic wouldn't let me do it. I hacked Metacritic, went in there, and I gave the first review of Starfield before anybody else, 1 out of 10. I can't wait for you guys all to play it. Anyways, in all seriousness, I've been very careful with all that stuff. I made a joke to Aaron Greenberg actually about NDAs because I didn't have a copy of the game.
Oh,
And
hold
he
on.
actually
Yeah, you got to rewind just a bit because we talked about this pre-show. I hate it when the good stuff comes out before we hit the green button, but we talked last week about the nonsense of the start screen leaked, and it was apparently just not cool enough. So what'd you do, Mag?
Okay,
For
so
people
what
who
I
aren't
did.
on Twitter.
So what I did is I took two pieces of paper, and you know how some people have the screen that says Starfield with the circle on it, and the sun and the little astronaut. So I drew that, right, and I made like a little stick figure with a helmet on it and a sun with a smiley face, and then in the bottom left corner of the screen I stuck on a piece of paper that said new game, continue adventure, whatever, like the exact menu of Starfield, and I taped it onto the TV, the blank TV, and I said, finally got my review code for Starfield, can't wait to play it. And I thought maybe a couple of people would get a laugh out of it. Turns out it ends up not only like 100,000 different people came across that tweet.
Wow.
Dude, it was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, what? And it's funny. I even told my wife. And my wife's
Superstar.
like, she's like, what the heck? She goes, that many people thought it was funny. I go, well, they probably didn't all think it was funny, but a lot of people went across it. Anyways, the best part is that I had to say something, and I said, don't worry, guys. The NDA is safe with me. Aaron Greenberg, of all people, responded, and he says, don't worry. What the heck did he say? He said, it's okay. We know it's safe with you or whatever. So even Aaron Greenberg got a good laugh out of it. So that was kind of funny. So anyways, I don't have a review code of it. I'm not getting it early because the long weekend is coming. And that's the funny part. It's almost torturous for some people because the game is coming out. The early access is coming out on the is it the Saturday? This Saturday? I think.
The early access is Thursday. It's the first.
Oh, is it Thursday?
Which is Friday.
Oh, Friday.
Sorry.
Okay, so sorry, not the Saturday. So the Friday. The Friday of what's considered to be one of the biggest next to American Thanksgiving would be like the Labor Day weekend is one of the biggest holidays of the year because it's the last weekend of summer for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, they jack up
everybody
gas prices before you go on your trip.
Of course.
But you should be home.
And
You should be home for that.
Exactly. So stay home and play Star. Anyways, but it's like that crazy last weekend of the summer. Everybody's got plans, and then they're like, "Yeah, let's just release the game of the generation on the Friday of the long weekend," and they're all giggling about it.
Well,
so I was just like, "Okay, so I'm gonna wait till after the weekend."
Yeah, I was thinking now. I'm like, gosh, it would have been really nice for them to release this game right before summer ended. Now that I've got to, we get up early and get the kids to school, and I'm like, oh. Because then
Are you doing
I could be up
anything on the
later.
weekend, or
And,
are you staying home?
well, that's what I was saying. We're going to PAX. So basically,
This
I
weekend.
live my life like the next day or 2 days ahead, and anything after that is like it's like a brick wall. I can't see beyond it. I'm a horrible planner. This coming Thursday afternoon, my review goes up with the embargo, and then I leave for Seattle, and I'm going to be heading to PAX Thursday night, and then I'll be there all weekend. But, darn, I should have brought it in here. That Logitech xCloud, if you've got good Wi-Fi, we were at the beach. You and I were on vacation this past couple weeks.
Yes.
And we were at this this beach house, and they had like a nice 5G Wi-Fi router, and I was playing Fallout 76 on the xCloud, and it was like smooth.
Really?
Like, yeah, I mean, it was just really good.
Awesome.
So
Would you like to know what happened on my vacation?
what happened on your vacation?
Okay, allow me to tell you. I brought my consoles up because we rent a cottage in different areas. We have cottages up north, and one of them belongs to people we know and whatever else, and then another one's in the family. This one happened to be somebody else's. So I was up there for the first week, and of course I bring my consoles with me because you never know if there's a rainy day or whatever else. You're not out in the water, you're not out in the lake doing whatever and boating and all that stuff. So anyways, I bring my consoles, right? Xbox, no problem. Well, my daughter wanted to play, what's that bloody game? Oh, Astro's Playroom. She wanted to play it on PlayStation. You know, the one with the, yeah. So anyways, so she's playing it, no problem. And because it's a cottage, guess what? There was a power surge in the basement, fried my PlayStation.
No, it did not.
Yes, it did. It fried my, and you know when it did it? The first night. So I mean, yeah, and guess what? Xbox, no problem. But the PlayStation, fried. So I had to go.
Because they've got the Dollar General power supply in that thing.
God. I had a dead PS5 for the entire week. When I got back, luckily, because I know people in the neighborhood not in the neighborhood, but like close by that know how to do these things. So I brought it to him. He pulled the thing
Canadian
off. He
Radio
goes, "Yeah,
Shack?
No, it was like a dude in his house. Like he actually does the work in his basement. And what he said, he goes, "Yeah, it's the power. It's the power supply." He goes, "Just wait here." I'm no joke. He went inside, ripped out the old power supply, replaced it, put together the console. He flushed it out and like cleaned it to make sure there was no dust inside, and then replaced the liquid metal cooling.
What?
In 15, dude, in 15 minutes.
Where did he get the power supply?
He has a whole bunch of them. And you know what's really funny? You know what he said to me? He said, "You know that you're the 13th person since May that I've had to replace a power supply in the PS5."
No wonder he's like.
He goes, "Never." And he said to me, "Well, I pay him cash for it." By the way, Timmy, what's up, buddy? Sorry, he was just saying hi to me a couple times. Here's the funny thing. So he says to me, he goes, "Don't ever send it back to Sony." He goes, "You just bring it to me." He goes, "I'll get it done for you in 15 minutes." And he goes, "They'll charge you like $3." Oh God, no! It was not even 100. So like, he just like, dude, it was 15 minutes. He literally just went in there. He fiddled. He did this thing. He goes, "All right, man." He goes, I changed your power supply. He goes, "I did the liquid metal cooling thing," and he goes, "And I flushed out your system to make sure it runs like a dream now." But the funny part is that does
Xbox, it run Starfield now?
Nothing, no problem whatsoever. Yeah, it runs Starfield now. Yeah, it's the Xbox, no problem, but the PlayStation later, sucker. So yeah, kids, fine if you have a PlayStation and it gets fried, don't send it back to Sony.
I'm going to that guy.
Find someone local. Oh yeah, you want to go from Seattle to Toronto?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Just to find this guy. Yeah, 13 power supplies since May. Can you imagine? And this is just a local dude who does it in his basement.
Well, I mean, I have lots of questions, but he must have bought a power supply that they use like in a lot of different things, I guess.
I don't know. I never asked him, and I was totally happy that he had it. I don't even care if he stole them. I was just happy that he had them. He just got it done. So yeah, so at least you had a positive gaming experience on your trip. I did not have a positive gaming experience on mine, so that sucks. But anyways, carry on with that.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Fallout 76 for like 20 minutes while everybody's kind of getting ready before we headed out for the day. But there was kind of rustle some feathers myself. Tom Warren tweeted about this PlayStation Portal, which we haven't really talked about much on this show, but apparently this thing does hardly anything. It doesn't have Bluetooth. This thing's dead. I was going to turn it on. It needs to be charged. But yeah, I mean, it's I got it for about $210. I think it was maybe $220 with tax because it was on like some crazy Logitech official pre-order sale. Yeah. And the PlayStation Portal doesn't have Bluetooth, so you have to buy the $200 PS5 DualSense earbuds, like the proprietary earbuds, or they're coming out with a full headset that is going to be compatible with PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation Portal. And it was kind of reported earlier that this thing couldn't play if you were on broadband or if you're on wireless internet, like mobile internet, but apparently it can, but it has to console stream. And as far as I read, and I don't want to talk about this too long because I know nobody gives a flying crap about this piece of garbage handheld that they're trying to sell to people, but
what a waste of money, man. What a waste of money.
Yeah. Apparently it can't even connect to PlayStation Now servers. Like you can't load this thing up. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I hate it when I'm wrong because I'm hardly ever wrong. But help me out, chat. Like I'm pretty sure that Tom Warren said, or another person reported on it, said that you could not connect to PSNow and play streamed games on it. That would be insane.
Doesn't make sense to me. So you're playing for that's what really bothered me actually. And by the way, the Rio Joxer, just DM me on Twitter and I'll send you his information, okay? Because the guy's out in Pickering. If you know, he knows where he is. He said he's in Toronto as well. This guy's the best, and he'll do it in 15 minutes. Anyways, here's the thing. If you're paying for PS Plus, right? Which is not cheap, by the way, not cheap. I know a lot of people complain about Game Pass, but even the mid-grade up here in Toronto, in Canada, the mid-grade one, which is like the PlayStation Plus Extra, I think it's called, and then there's the Premium, right?
Premium, yeah.
I'm paying for the medium because I'm not going to pay for the Premium. That's ridiculous. So that's already $20, and that's not even the Premier one, right? So imagine you're paying $20 a month. And then you buy a 200 up here in Canada.
Premium's $20 a month?
20 a month. The premium, no, excuse me. No. The extra is 20. Premium is even higher. That's like $25. So here's the thing is that Now you pay
look this up.
$270. Yeah, look it up. Well, I mean, this is Canadian prices, right? Not
Yeah. That's why I'm looking it up. Go ahead.
We're getting jousted up here. Anyways, this PlayStation Portal thing is $270 Canadian, right? Because it's $199 American. And I'm like, wait a second. So you're paying $270. You could barely leave the house, which is who has one TV in the house anymore? I mean, even if people have a monitor somewhere else or whatever, right? I'm not saying you have to have like a 70-inch TV in every room, but I'm pretty darn sure that most people have more than one screen in the home. What's the point of this thing? What, so I can go play in the toilet while my wife watches like reruns of Sex in the City? It's ridiculous. And then you can't even access
for the players.
Well, you can't even access like your PlayStation Plus that you're paying monthly for. You don't think that easily could have been implemented? It's utterly ridiculous. It's a cash grab, and it's a waste of time. On top of the fact that the thing looks ugly as sin. There's my rant for the day. Stupid thing.
I'll just put the top. I looked at this while you were talking. You can get it's about $9 a month for PlayStation Extra, the middle tier. If you pay for a full 12 months, which Xbox does not allow you to pay. For a full 12 months at a discount. You save $80 by paying for the whole year. Like, why wouldn't you if you were playing everything on your PlayStation? But the point is, as we'll move on from PlayStation Portal, is that the PlayStation Portal requires a console. It goes against everything that Xbox and everybody else are doing. You've got the Steam Deck, you've got the ROG Ally, you've got competitors coming up. You've got things like the Logitech Brio, that's my camera. The Logitech xCloud, which comes preloaded with the NVIDIA GeForce streaming app, the Xbox app, and the xCloud app. So it's like a device that says, hey, wow, 1,000 people watching. I really didn't think, thank you so much for being here with Megan. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much. Hit the like button. I should remind you, if we get 500 likes, I don't know what I was gonna. I don't know what I would do. I was gonna promise something totally.
Instantly get demonetized for what I was about to say. So I just kept. I just said, let me just shut up. By the way, thank you. By the way, people in the chat are already noticing that my lighting is different. I changed all my lighting for the show.
Yeah. I do like it a lot.
Well, because I worked on it for a couple days. I'm like, let me get this organized. So I'm trying to make it better. So there we are, folks.
Yes, yeah. Anyways, Meg told me that he wanted to get the ambient blue lighting in the back, but also have his face lit. So he's got a light up there, and it's always a work in progress trying to make yourself look handsome.
Always, man, always.
Shout out to the blue number in the chat. Yodana Quezada and Happy Bomb are fantastic moderators, and Dante, good friend of mine, Timmy. There's so many people to name, but thank you so much for being here. The point I was just saying is that the PlayStation Portal, literally, you have to have a console. You have to buy the PS5 because there's no way to load up a game on that thing unless you own the console, and it just goes against everything that I think that's where the world's going. More than streaming on demand, Mag, I think the world is going to being able to play your games that you buy in more places, and I don't know. I just think PlayStation is just really holding on to that.
Now, Xbox has got it down to a science. They've had it down to a science for the last couple of years. Even before the pandemic happened, I was playing xCloud in the airport in Tampa, Florida, when I came back from my Disney World vacation with the family, and it was literally February of 2020. So we were like riding the knife of the pandemic. It just happened right after we got back. Anyway, the point of the story was not that. The point of the story was that I was in the airport and there were kids behind me all like this. And they're all like, what is he playing? And I happened to be playing Forza Horizon on my phone. And that was 2019
with the touch.
I had a controller and I bought one of those. Things that you put your cell phone on.
In 2019, you probably did look like a crazy alien from outer space, but yeah.
Well, it was February 2020, and I was playing xCloud. That was like, we're talking 3 years ago, dude, and like they've already got it down to a science. And guess how much I had to pay for that? Nothing. All I had to pay for was my Game Pass
like $8.
Oh yeah, my wife got it from Amazon. It showed up on the porch the next day. The guy threw it like trash on my porch. That was it, right? 2 seconds. But the point is that they've had it down to a science of the fact that like if you're already paying for a service, you have access to it anywhere. These guys are making you pay for a whole new handheld console, essentially. That literally gives you access to nothing unless you already are paying for a $500 system. It makes no sense.
You can't play a darn thing unless you bought it, unless you have it installed. Like I heard you can remote, as long as your console is in standby mode, you can remote power on, and then you can get into your games as long as they're installed on your console. It's a weird, like, weak step from where Xbox has been, but I mean, they don't have the same business model, I will say.
No. But if you're trying to compete in that,
I think the price is okay-ish. Like the Logitech xCloud that I showed here, it's pretty nice. I mean, the screen is an inch smaller than the Portal, but this is like $300 most times, and the Portal is $200. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why Xbox and PlayStation are so afraid to make a handheld, but Xbox can sit back and go, we're good. Steam Deck and ROG Ally's got us covered. Somebody else is going to make something even better.
You know, the thing is, if the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck continue to sell relatively well, a cheaper alternative will always eventually present itself down the road. And what you're going to end up seeing, I'm telling you right now, you're going to end up seeing a $150 Game Pass, basically a Game Pass screen. You know what I mean? Game Pass handheld, which is just going to be whatever, partnered with somebody else, who knows what, with who knows who. And it'll be basically I hate to use the word stocking stuffer because it'd be like, come on, man, that's ridiculous. But for some people, that is a stocking stuffer, like $100 or something. Like they throw it in, or maybe that's the present for the kids at Christmas time, whatever.
Rich boy over here.
No, not me. Come on, man. I would never do that. My kids get a Toblerone bar and a pair of socks in their stockings. Get out of here.
A what?
So, a Toblerone bar. You know those bloody things, that the ones with the triangles? Those are the best chocolate bars in the... Okay, guys.
I thought you were talking about soap. Yeah. I don't know. Like Canadian soap, a Toblerone bar or whatever you called it.
No, it's okay, everybody in the chat, just put a thumbs up if you know what a Toblerone bar is. By the way,
dude,
Terry,
not everyone was born in
YouTube
1942.
Oh my God, they still sell them now. They're delicious. You can go get them at the dollar store, 99 cents. Anyways, let's see some thumbs up for crying out loud. I don't want to be left hanging here. Anyways.
Wait, we didn't even talk about the Starfield leaker because you and I just diverted off into...
Well, I don't want to talk about the I don't want to talk about it. What am I going to say? He's going to get in a lot of trouble.
Well, I mean, it's funny.
Okay. Maybe not jail.
So a few days ago, this guy posted, I think it was like day 2 that we had access to the game, the people that are reviewing it. It was like day 1 or day 2. He posted 45 minutes of him playing the game from the very beginning with his phone in portrait mode. And I remember the very first top comment was, oh my gosh, we have our first Starfield link. And the dude recorded it in portrait. And then it was just a really bad recording. And then he apparently had a handful of games that he got from his work. He works at some warehouse and he was trying to sell them. And Todd Howard went to his house and arrested him. Like, you know, Todd Howard kicked down the door.
He did, it was pretty amazing. It was like Mel Gibson and like Lethal Weapon 2.
with the leather jacket. He's like,
you better put that controller down, kid.
Hey,
by the way, look at all those thumbs up.
Yeah, they know what the tubular bar is. Hey, shout out to Red Wolf who's in the chat. Good friend. Do. Shout out to Red Wolf in the chat. He put out a really great 16-minute Starfield video, and before you get a chance to ever say, I don't know if I'm, there's no way you can get bored. He cracks so many jokes and so many sidebars in this thing, and it's got great information. Check out his video. He put it up about 2 or 3 hours ago. But Starfield leaker's going to jail, mugshot and everything, and I don't know. He'll probably just post bail and they'll fine him. I don't know.
They'll ban him.
I heard Xbox completely banned his account. So
yeah, that's the best they're gonna do. I mean, what else are you gonna do, really? I mean, it's not really essentially stolen property if it was given to him, so they can't really say it's like larceny of any way. And it's obviously larceny under 500, which is not even a criminal offense.
What about with intent to sell? Starfield games with intent to sell.
With intent to sell is a lot more of a problem. Like, I saw somebody else in the chat said something about that. Flipping minds, that was great. He put Star SWAT team. They're all wearing Starfield jackets with Star SWAT on it. Yeah, that's great, by the way. with intent to sell, you can get in a hell of a lot more trouble. This is where Sleepy Gaz can actually help us with this.
Being gosh. I had him up till like 3 a.m. that show. How dare you?
Well, I mean, obviously, with his terrible law advice, you could probably ask him what kind of sentence
he's going to clap back next chance he gets, right?
I'm waiting for him to clap back. I mean, he started it. Listen, I was just casually sitting there watching the sunset. I had a cigar, I was having a drink, and all of a sudden I was like, I'm like, he said what? And then that was it. He just set it off, man. You drew first blood. You drew first blood, not me, okay? I'm Sylvester Stallone. You're the sheriff. You drew first blood. Anyhow, in all seriousness.
Who is it? Mathel says, Colt's mugshot would be like Trump. This would be my mugshot.
With a controller in your or is that your phone?
That's supposed to be my card or whatever it is.
Oh, right, so you're holding your card. It'd be funny if the card
it would have like my Xbox Live gamer tag.
Yeah, I was gonna say your gamer tag on it.
Watch somebody screenshot that and make it into a meme.
Guys, Legion of Memers. I know you guys are out there. Please. Oh, here it is, guys. Loop73, thank you very much for that. He said he was charged with felony theft. That is actually a situation. Because if I'm not mistaken, a felony, you're talking federal, right? So you're not talking.
That's a federal offense. It goes to Supreme Court. It's anything over the amount of $300 or something is considered theft or felony. So if he had these days with how expensive games are, you only need to have 3 games in your possession or whatever it is, and then you've got a felony. But I don't know what they'll do to him. But who was it in Tim Purr said in the chat that Jez said on Xbox 2 that it was the FBI that came in, not Todd.
Oh, Jesus.
But my report said it was Todd, so we're going to stay with my report, not Jez's.
Yours is better. Todd with the leather jacket and his shiny loafers. That is.
And he has one of those little Walther P90s, Licks it.
Greenberg puts him up against the wall, and the guy's like, "Hey, Todd, get your dog off me already." Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I'm totally that's crazy though. Listen, man.
I don't think that's Greenberg's accent, though.
Games. But no. It was I was pretending like the other guy was Tony Montana. Never mind. Here we go. Listen. Here's the thing. What an idiot. Okay. You play stupid games. You win stupid prizes. You've got the biggest game of the year. Okay.
Well,
and the whole spotlight is on it, and this guy thinks it's a good idea to not only leak content, and then on top of that, he's going to say, hey, everybody, seeing that all eyes are on this game, including every single person at Microsoft, let's intend to sell it on top of the fact that I'm leaking footage. You're drawing attention. That's like having a neon sign or advertising on Facebook or Twitter or whatever saying, hey, I'm going to be robbing a bank tomorrow. So, keep an eye out for me just in case you want to say hi. You're advertising what you're about to do.
And these days you can't just drop a game in your console before it's available. But with review copies, maybe they don't check that. But his name was Tyrone on Xbox. That was his Xbox handle. It was Tyrone something. And he changed all of his socials. At least I saw he changed his Instagram or his TikTok or his Snapchip or Slip Slop or whatever app he was on. He changed.
I'm joining them tonight. Yeah.
Follow me on Slip Slop at Colteastwood, and he changed his name to Starfield Leaker like 2 days into the clout.
How old is this guy? Do you know how old this guy is? Because I didn't see him. I didn't see his face.
He looked like he was in his mid-20s, early 20s.
What a jackass. That is literally this. I mean, I understand kids do stupid things. I would actually be a little bit more forgiving if it was like a 14-year-old just looking for clout with his friends. That it was
Bro, he was blazed out of his mind. Like he was holding the blunt, and he was like,
because
he was like this. He was like,
I leaked Starfield to my friends because I got high.
He was like this. Yeah. Starfield.
Wow.
Starfield is a good game.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love
Howard broke my door, and I know why.
You know that Starfield game? Doesn't look good on you. Yeah, so...
Was he a South American drug lord now?
Yeah. My friend and I used to always do that. We would always pick up a pen or a straw and you know that purse? Doesn't look good on you. And it's actually... Jean-Claude Van Damme and Time Cop. But I don't know why we do that. We just did that for years. But yeah, he was smoking weed on his video in portrait mode and saying, yo, stop you, man. Talking about how, like, I don't know what he was saying. I couldn't understand him, but
why can't you just smoke weed and like eat a bag of Doritos? But like, you know what I mean? Just do something and watch like a funny movie. But no. The guy's got to like get high and then do a felony theft. Like, what the hell is that? It makes no sense. Like, listen to like a Pink Floyd album and like stare at the wall. I don't know.
I mean, that's what our parents did.
Yeah, let's do
it. Hey, let's do what your grandparents did, and let's listen to Pink Floyd while we watch Wizard of Oz and smoke weed. This show is brought to you by Family Values First. But let's talk about the Starfield FUD, because right now we are at an all-time critical mass, like a supernova ready to just implode on itself and explode as people, fanboys, especially singular console owners, are freaking out about Starfield, complaining about the loading screen, complaining about the mechanics of the game, not listening to what Pete Hines and Todd Howard have said in previous interviews, and basically saying, oh my gosh, you can't do this one thing in a game. I actually don't think I can even say it. It's not even worth saying, but I'll let Mag say it. But right now, since yesterday, they've been freaking out about this one mechanic that they feel like they were completely lied to. People that will never even buy the game. Mag, what's the massive FUD?
Well, the new one is, I mean, there were several. However, the newest one in the news is now the invisible wall, right?
That's the one. Yep.
That's the one, right? So like after, I think it was 10 minutes or 9.5 minutes, whatever the heck it was. Yeah, and then apparently you walk into a wall. First of all, that is yet to be proven. From what I've heard, from what I've seen. Like I've never seen it. I mean, I know somebody else said, "Oh, this happened here." Is that something that actually happened? Was it doctored footage? I would wait to see. First of all, it doesn't bother me at all. The thing is, we don't even know what it is. Is it a barren planet? There's nothing on it. What is it? Just like, you know what I mean? Like it just keeps going. Eventually, it's going to cut off at some point. It's like Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5. You can run through the desert yelling Kiflam for 15 minutes, but eventually you're going to hit a wall and turn around, no? I mean, this is like...
I mean, you can do that in Grand Theft Auto 5, and it sucks. It's not fun. I can tell you, man. Saying?
Like, eventually, an open world ends. You know what I mean? You can't just keep sailing forever. I mean, like, if you were like, I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I did that. Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
You can, like... In No Man's Sky, you can lift up your ship and fly around the curvature of the planet until you get to the other side. But you would never know because it procedurally generates a certain amount ahead of you in No Man's Sky. And if you got to whatever you figured and calculated the radius of that planet, which you cannot, but you could fly for several 20, 30 minutes, an hour, like you would want to.
That's flying on the outside.
But I would bet that in No Man's Sky, if you got around the curvature, if the game was able to tell you that, which it won't, I played 50 some hours of No Man's Sky, you would arrive at where you started, but it would be a totally different procedurally generated location. Now, Todd Howard said, I can say this because this is like 9 months ago or a year ago. Todd Howard said in his Lex Friedman interview, Lex Friedman says, you know, why don't you allow us to just take off and fly and land wherever we want? And Todd Howard said, we tried that. We were working on it. And we were trying to figure out what makes the game good, what makes it fun, what gives you a good experience. He said they came up with this system where they handcraft the landscape and then have the procedural generation create it where it belongs and how it would work. So basically, a planet is made up of set big, huge tiles like the size of the Skyrim map that it stitches around the planet, but you can only access them by jumping up and coming back down. Now, that bothers people because they think the immersion of the space sim has been broken. But I could tell you, if it was No Man's Sky and I wanted to see how far I could go and what I could see by walking for more than 10 minutes or 20 minutes, like I think whatever this guy leaked, I don't know. I don't even know the time. And if I don't say, that's even better for my position. But if I was going to walk for 25 minutes hoping to find some city or something that is probably not there, I don't know how in the world that's fun. And
that's not fun. I mean, like, aren't you trying to make it from A to B? Like, if you're playing, I understand obviously exploration because, you know, let's face it, I'm the guy when it comes to completing games, right? I 100% complete all the games I sit down. That includes my personal specialty is open world games. So, if it takes me 200 hours to do it, I'll do it. I'll lift every rock and look behind every tree in a game.
You will.
But I do it, and it's quite unnerving to a lot of people. But to me, I enjoy it. However, there is a limit. If there's nothing there and there's nothing going to be there further, I'm not going to go there. You know what I mean? But if there's a city and they're saying, hey, look, if there's a city that way, whatever, to the east, just go east and whatever. If it takes me 10 minutes to get to that city, that's fine, because at least I know it's there. But if there's absolutely nothing there and there's nothing to do out there, and you keep walking and walking and walking and walking for absolutely no reason, and then eventually you hit something, a tether, a wall. Someone said it's actually not a wall, it's like a tether to your ship or something like that. I don't know. You know why I don't know? Because I haven't played the game. And the other thing is, most of the people that are talking about this, guess what? They haven't played the game either. And the thing is, I think it would be wise for everybody who hasn't played the game, which is a fair amount of people out there, don't talk about it. Don't talk about something you don't know. And that's the best first of all, that's the best policy in life, folks, okay?
They're talking about Baldur's Gate and they haven't even played it, bro.
Exactly. That's the same old crap. It's just a narrative on whatever social medias you're on. And the thing is, at the end of the day, is that if you haven't played it, don't talk about it. I haven't played it. When I get to it, and then I get to a point where I'm like, listen, if it makes absolutely no sense for me to keep walking on an empty, barren planet because there's only 1 or 2 settlements on the whole planet, and I've been to those places, I'm not going to go wandering around in the desert looking for nothing. It doesn't make any sense. It takes away from the experience, and then all of a sudden, how is that fun? How is that fun? How is that keeping the narrative moving forward? That you're doing something interesting. I explore not to explore for the sake of exploring. I do it because I'm looking for something, and there's something rewarding is when you find something, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
But if there's nothing there, what are you doing? The other thing is this landing anywhere business. Okay, I just finished getting the completion on Jedi Survivor or whatever, a month ago, okay? They don't let you land anywhere. When you get to the planet, because, you jump from planet to planet, guess what? You land on... You guessed it, the landing platform. Boy, what a shocker. Boy, what a revelation,
take off
folks.
and control. But I guess the fallacy is that people are, the chat's, onto it, right? They know. The fallacy is that Starfield's supposed to be a space sim. It's not. And someone said it perfect. It's a Bethesda RPG set in space.
It's an RPG. It's not a sim. It's not flight simulator in space. It's not whatever people think it is. It's a game with a narrative. I don't even want to know what the narrative is. I want to play it and experience it for myself. Is there a big bad guy? Is there not? I don't know what the heck it is. But I'm just going to play it when it comes out. But it is an RPG at heart with a story. And therefore, it's not a simulator. And you know what the focus is? The story, the exploration, and what I want to be doing.
Yeah,
and the quests and all that stuff. Not where you land and how you land and this and that. It is not that kind of a game. And like I said, how does that affect anything? I just finished, like I said, playing Jedi Survivor. I landed 1,000 times in that game, going from planet to planet.
Yeah.
What do I care? It's the same landing platform. It's where you're going from there that's important. How stupid is that? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about No Man's Sky in here a lot, and I have to remind you guys that I really do like the game. So this wouldn't be a knock, but it is very cool that you can lift off and go until the atmosphere makes way for the stars. It's really, really cool. But when you point to a location that you want to fly to, you're pushing right trigger, left trigger, bumper, and then A or something like that. You have to hold them all at once, and you warp speed, and you travel for a minute at warp speed, and you kind of have to keep steering until you get to a planet. And it's pretty darn cool that you can do that, but it also kind of gets old. Can I just go to, and you can go to the star map and just in No Man's Sky and say, I want to go here. And then it makes you do some of the stuff manually. But then when you land, I'll finish No Man's Sky talk right here. When you land on a planet, they all look exactly the same, but different color grades. This one's yellow, this one's orange, this one's pink, this one's blue, this one's green. All of the plants and trees, I think there's it feels like there's 8 different plants and trees and rocks. They all look identical. They all have completely different names. They're all new discoveries, and it's cool for a while. But I mean, I just think from what we saw from the direct in June, it doesn't look like it really is supposed to be the same game. So I guess that's where we're at. Digital Foundry was talking this morning, Mag, You probably didn't see this, but they were trying not to break their embargo NDA, but they got to see the game behind the scenes at Gamescom in Germany, and they had a lot of really nice things to say about the visuals and the graphics and the lighting and the performance, and they're going to do like a whole breakdown. They even said that their like analysis of Starfield when it launches might not be out on the day on Thursday because they want to take their time to make sure they cover everything and get it right. And they just look excited. They look happy, I guess. Can I say that?
You know, the other thing is, too, I want to bring this up quickly because I see some people in the chat talking about it, and they're not wrong. Saying things like people are upset or they're hating on a game that's not coming to their system. Here's the thing that I don't get, and this is what I wanted. I'm sure that the people who are like that are not listening to the show and are not in our chat unless they're like, they enjoy being upset or whatever. But the thing is that if it's not coming to a system that you own, I don't understand that they've given you, by they, I mean Microsoft, have literally given you every single avenue of every price range possible to access this game. There is no reason for anybody. You can't tell me that you can't afford 1 month of Game Pass. Don't give me that crap as you type on your $2,000 cell phone that you can't afford $10, right?
Yeah.
Or why
the
don't
the $1 entry fee is canceling as well as it's going away.
Yeah,
the $1
exactly.
trial.
The thing is, here, hold on. Someone said something about my pop filter. Hello. Let me just talk in there like this because I'm going to scream for a minute. Here, the thing is, look you can buy a triple, double, quadruple ginger, like cinnamon crappuccino from like a Starbucks. It costs the same as 1 month of Game Pass.
Frappe pinkety drinkety. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? Okay, so if you do that and you buy that, now what the heck is the difference between you can't buy 1 month of Game Pass and play it on your
You sound
tablet?
like a hostile salesperson on the floor. You like knock the lady's drink out of her hand, like you can buy that stupid frilly drink, but you can't buy 1 month of Game Pass. Get the heck out of my store.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. Yeah, no kidding, right? It doesn't make any sense to me, man. It doesn't make any sense. So they've given you every reason, or sorry, not every reason. They've given you every possible avenue to be able to access the ecosystem at the cheapest possible price. It would cost you less than $100 even if you didn't own a controller, right? You could buy a controller and get your Game Pass for like $80, right? Or you can even go to GameStop and get what do they call it now? Played, a used like a used controller for like $40.
Oh, they say that now? Played?
Yeah, it's called PLAY with like an apostrophe D. That's like their used category. So you can get a played controller for like $40, okay? And then you can get Game Pass for $50. You can go play Starfield. What is the problem? And then it's not like you have to return the controller when you're done. You've got it for the next banger that comes out or whatever.
I don't even think it's...
you can subscribe to.
I mean, that seems like a stretch. Dude. Like, if I was just gonna say No Man's Sky. If Starfield looks great, like, go buy a Series S or an X, or use your PC, or maybe upgrade it, or go on cloud. Like, go see if your Samsung TV is I don't know. It's like, you're right. They've given you every excuse to play first party games. The problem is, over the past year and a half, they've been really light on great AAA games.
That's fair. I've been very critical of Xbox having basically nothing, and then that makes people question why they bought a Series X or whatever else. Fine, nothing against that, and we're not talking about that now. That's not what we're going to be discussing at this very moment. However, what we are talking about is the fact that people are hating this and that and the other thing, and it's exclusive and it's ridiculous. But you have access to play it. Yeah. Give it a shot. Give it a try. If you're an actual real gamer and a consumer, give it a shot. Give it a try. Then you can make your own decision. If the Metacritics start coming out at 70, 75, whatever, and this game is mid or blah, 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 then you could talk all you want, because then at that point, everybody's played it, everybody's tried it, whatever. But if this game's hitting 90s, 91s, 92s, whatever it is, or high 80s, okay, and it's hitting those marks, and you're still talking trash, you're just making yourself look like a damn fool. And it basically, I mean, you're already looking like a damn fool, right? Just stop it. Just stop.
I know. Let me read a couple supers here. All I can say is that I'm playing Starfield and I'll have my review out on August 31st. Chris sends the £2, says, "How you doing, fellow Cadiz?" And it was funny because I tweeted today about I've never seen so many people threatened over Starfield, and this one guy quote tweeted me and said, "You Xbots ain't got nothing over there," and he had like 9 misspellings in his tweet, and I said, "Kids," he goes, "You Xbot kids," and he wrote kids, KDIS, and I said, "Kids, brother, you can't even spell," and he had 6 likes and I had 140. So anyway, shout out to Chris for that one. Silent Cypher 2 says, "Colt, 100-year-old hookers, bleh." Hey, age is nothing but a number, bro. Abdel 114 says, "I feel like there's a legit chance Starfield will be the best game of all time." He thinks a 96 plus meta. Imagine if IGN gives Deathloop a 10 out of 10, which I think they did, and not Starfield. And he says, "Mag is the GOAT."
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, that's very nice.
I didn't know I was a barnyard animal.
I didn't know I was the best barnyard animal. Spartan661, thank you for the 2. He says, "Mag, you were missed when you were not on the show."
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's really nice to be back and being able to talk and complain and do whatever and scream into my pop filter here.
Wait, did you put the pop filter back on?
I put it up a little bit because I'm
okay. I can still see your face. Okay, so chat and audience, I gave him a hard time because I couldn't see all of his face, and I want you guys to see all of his reactions and everything. So where he has it is good. I'll leave him alone.
No, it's because Discord is acting a damn fool. And the audio's been off tonight. My mic was hot, and it normally isn't that bad. And tonight it's I don't know what it is, but like I said, the Discord audio is just off tonight. So
yeah,
anyways,
we do our best to give you guys like a good, clean and clear and easy to listen to and easy to watch show. And yeah, I went through it for like 2 weeks where Discord just didn't like to give me a nice, clean signal. But we appreciate you guys for putting up with it as we tweak knobs behind the scenes. Red Wolf gifted a channel membership. Red, don't do that. You don't have to do that, but thank you so much. He gave it to Magnum Westward. Hargeet Chani says August 31st, 5 p.m. Pacific time or 8 p.m. Eastern. He's talking about when you can play it. Starfield takes off. Starfield is, oh yes, I was going to say this, Hargeet. Thank you for being here on this one. He said, Starfield is at a number 42 on the best-selling Amazon list for video games, and Spider-Man 2 is number 54. Actually, Spider-Man 2 is number 62 earlier today, Hargeet, so it's climbing up. So Starfield is at the top bestsellers list, and I'll add to his comment that Starfield is at the top of the Steam seller list. And I'll tell you why I'm talking sales, because I normally don't talk sales because it's not the right metric. But Steam's top selling game right now is Starfield, just under the declining Baldur's Gate. And the reason why I bring this up is because Amazon's Xbox Series console version of Starfield is higher than Spider-Man, and you can get Starfield in many other places. You don't have to buy an Xbox version. So it's kind of a litmus test, see how people are excited. So Hargeet's asking which one will sell more by the end. I think it's really tough to say. Meg, I'll ask you, which one will sell more, Spider-Man 2 or Starfield?
Well, you see, that's not not really fair because Spider-Man, you're only going to be able to purchase it. There's no PS Plus in there, whatever else. Let's face it, Starfield, I think about a solid 75-80% of people are going to be playing at Game Pass. So you're talking two metrics, two completely different metrics entirely, right? So,
I wonder what that percentage is. I mean, that's kind of you throw a number out there, but I might throw the same kind of number. How many would actually play it on Game Pass? But
I'm sure that it's
Mag,
sell.
I think the sale of the early access thing has been a massive, huge boost for sales. Like, people are like, I want to play it on Game Pass for almost free, but this early access thing is like $31 or something. 32? I can't remember. But I think people are just like, really, when it comes down to it on Xbox, you pay $30, you get the game 5 days early, and if you're paying for Game Pass, you didn't have to pay $70, plus you get it early, right? I mean,
right.
Math.
I see. Yeah, like I said, it's very confusing because I don't know how this is going to go. I mean, are people on PC going to be purchasing the game, or are they going to be like, we don't even really know. Are people on Xbox going to be purchasing it, or are they going to be getting it through Game Pass PC, Game Pass
Steam
Xbox?
Sales are all people buying the game. And I think the Steam sales also include people paying for early access for the premium edition, which I would think is what's also boosting it. And then you've got all these people on Amazon buying the game digitally or physically, knowing that, I mean, it didn't say premium version, so there's a lot of people buying the regular version when they know they could get in Game Pass. So maybe only half are going to jump on Game Pass.
Dude, I don't know, man. You know, the more you say it, the more I start thinking that Steam is going to be the one that's going to pick up, well, no pun intended, every pun intended, Steam, is that what it's going to end up happening here is that you're going to have, you know, like Skyrim. How many copies of Skyrim sold? Like 50, how many were? Chad, help me out. I think it was between 40 and 60 million copies, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Something ludicrous like that. Okay, so I know that's a very wide window, but I know it was somewhere in that range. So if that's the case, okay, whoever in the chat gets it first, you get a lollipop.
I should throw a lollipop to me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll throw it through the screen. There you go. Catch it. Here's the thing. So 60 million, right? I know that there was no Game Pass when Skyrim came out, so obviously let's take off about 25 mil right off the top. Okay? So now you're still looking at like 35 million. Right? You're looking at like 35 million copies. That's more than what Spider-Man 2 is going to sell. Spider-Man 1, which was one of the biggest selling games of all time, the biggest Marvel game of all time.
Like 30 million or 35 million on PS4.
I don't even think it hit that much. I actually think Spider-Man 1 only hit about 20 plus million, maybe 25
Now
million.
I got to look that up.
I'm pretty sure it was 25 million. Don't quote me, but I think it was 20. You know what, Tucker Knott, I'll give you a lollipop as well. He said 60 million.
33 million.
I think it was 33 million. That's way higher than I expected. Okay.
Yeah.
So 33 million. Okay. So I still think at that point, I think that there's a good shot. Never mind. I'm going to take back what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a good shot that Starfield will outsell Spider-Man 2.
It's available to way more people too. I mean, it's not really fair.
It's available to way more people.
There's like
and not
30 million consoles
PS5s
or something. I don't know how many series consoles there are. Like, I don't know, 28 million, 30 million. And then you've got 250 million people on Steam. And everyone's going to like wonder, hey, how's this game going to look on my PC? How's this game going to look on my Xbox?
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be. Hargy does bring up a good question when he asks which one's going to sell more. And normally I would think, Hargy says that 33 million was combined with Miles Morales.
Oh, well, that's...
Hold on, I still have to search up.
Okay, so I still stand, but it was 25 million.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I thought it was 25 million from the get-go. So, like, that's a whole thing now. So now you're looking at a situation where I think Starfield will easily outsell Spider-Man 2 because, first of all, let's also remember that at the time that Spider-Man 1 came out, PS4s, there were a hell of a lot more PS4s out in the wild.
Yeah, they were like at 110 million PS4s. And now, since for the past couple of years, Spider-Man has been on Steam. It's been on PC. I think it went to just Steam. I think it went. I don't think it went to Epic, but yeah, it's available to tons of players.
Sure. Yeah.
So now the question could possibly be, not that it really matters, like you said, the metrics all over the board, and Xbox just isn't going that way. But can Starfield outsell the Spider-Man series?
Think so.
All three of them.
Oh, come on! Don't be ridiculous. No. It's not going to outsell all of them. However. If anybody wants to play any bet, you know what? Now I'm generally a fun betting man, but I would put my money on if you're going to Vegas, you want to get one of those black chips, okay? You know, the real expensive ones. I'd throw that on Starfield. I'd throw it on Starfield. I think that's a big. Actually, you know what? I'm going to look it up and see if I can bet on that for real, because if you actually call some of the Vegas bookies, they'll let you bet on anything. So you know what? I'm going to look into that because I want to do that because that would make that first 2 months between September and November really exciting.
Okay, so
watching like the sales going, right?
So we've covered weed, felonies, hookers, and now gambling.
Oh, and cocaine. Remember, Gaz doing cocaine.
And cocaine. So I think we've covered just about all of the virtues and vices of the world. Huh?
Choosing XNC. Yeah.
Yeah. I like this show. I can watch with my family. Silent Cypher says
no swearing.
No swearing though, but we will talk about. Yeah, that's how I try to be. Do some crazy stuff, but no swearing.
No swearing.
Silent Cypher with the 5 says, "I just learned something shocking today. Colt doesn't know what a Toblerone bar is. What world are we in?" Now, you said it's a chocolate. Here, I'm going to look it up. Since I've got a tab open.
Why
would I know what that is?
I don't know, somewhere. I don't know, Washington, wherever the heck you live. Listen,
Oh, I do.
Wherever
Okay, I've seen them. I've never had one.
Oh,
yeah, I've
dude,
seen them
you
a
have
bunch
no
of
idea
times.
what you're missing.
Why? What's so great? Is that caramel in the middle of it?
Oh no, it's got
honey and
it's got
almond
like this,
nougat. Nougat is that the
Oh, my
white
God.
stuff, the chewy stuff?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna get one.
Dude,
I'm gonna
it's-
get one tomorrow.
No, dude, it's so good. And you know the thing is, at Christmas time, they have these gigantic like diabetes ones that are like 4 pounds. I'm not kidding. They're like 4. You could literally murder somebody with this thing. Like if you swung the Toblerone bar.
Now we've
it
covered
would
every
be a
crime.
headline.
Now that's all. We've covered every crime. Now you got murder in there.
The Sauza. How could you say it's not good? Anyways, listen here. Did someone say Hershey's is better than Toblerone? You know, Boba Fett Gaming. You have to leave the chat. I'm sorry. Anyway. It's like a 4-pound thing. I mean, it may make a great headline for the papers, man. You
There's
know,
a little
man killed with
factoid.
Toblerone bar. Yeah.
A little factoid about Hershey's is that they use a special amino or some type of enzyme in their chocolate
Yeah. It's
that
heroin,
makes
yes.
it taste like baby puke. Like it's this really bitter flavor that they believe is like the best way to taste chocolate. And there are some people who cannot eat a Hershey's bar because it tastes like throw up. Interesting, huh?
I thought it was just. I thought it was just heroin. That's why people keep eating it. You know, hey man, I love Hershey's too, man. I'm a chocolate guy. I don't like candy anymore. I grew out of candy because let's face it, I'm 48. I'm not sitting around eating like you know sour whatever gummy bears and and nonsense. My kids are into that stuff. I am a chocolate guy. But when I get started with this chocolate, I gotta tell you, man, it's impossible to stop. Which by the way. Halloween candy is already out and available, folks. Get on it right away. The 4-pound Toblerone bar, I'm going to send one to Colt. I'm going to sky drop it, and it's going to land on his house. It's probably going to destroy half his house because the thing's so heavy. Anyways, it's ridiculous. And I sit there and I eat it for like 2 days, and then I'm sick for like a week after just because I ate 4 pounds of chocolate.
Bite into it, like a tooth will just come right out. They're amazing. Biff Rinaldi, who's been a member for 5 months as a member chat, he says 71 hours to Starfield. I can't wait to dive into this universe. Took a week off to know life this game. It's going to be glorious. Sith Lord with a $2 who I've had it since last Thursday, so
jeez, yeah,
it's
fair
crazy.
enough. But you worked.
Did I though?
Sort of.
Yeah. Sith Lord with the $2 says, sorry I'm late. Welcome back, guys. I missed you too. And thanks to him for DMing me and making sure we were doing the show. I appreciate your support. Hargy Johnny with a 5 says, breaking news. PS gamers amend lawsuit against Xbox. Add felony charges against Phil Spender for stealing Starfield from gamers who only exist on PlayStation. Hargy being messy. Thank you for the super, Hargy. Elemental Pio with a 5. Thank you. He says, so if this leaker gave up his gamer tag, does that mean Tyrone is available to use? Probably not. It's probably been locked away.
You're gonna have to put Tyrone 420-6969-4326. That's available. My God, have you tried to put like a new gamer tag now? Like now that Xbox Live has been around for like 20 years? Forget it, dude. You have to put like the most ridiculous names ever to be able to get a name on there now.
Well, there's like
150
Xbox Live account, 150 million or something like that. Xbox Live accounts.
Crazy.
Silent Cypher, thank you for the 5. Says Mag, it's because the extremists don't want to support a game that is under Microsoft. If they are a Sony diehard, it's dumb, but it happens sadly.
It doesn't make any sense to me, man. I don't want to get into that again. I mean, it's already been said.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's so stupid. I mean, just like we're gamers, right? Do you work for Sony? Do you work for Microsoft? No, we're gamers, man. And if the gamers are good, who cares where they are?
Yeah, but it's your home team. I know people, they root for their team, and like we've talked about before, you go into the stadium wearing the opposing team's jersey, and they start throwing beers at you. So I don't know,
which is crazy because beers are like $15 in those stadiums. But that's an expensive diss. But listen, man, it doesn't matter if I'm playing a banger on PlayStation. Do I care what people think? That people like say, I mean, people make jokes and call me pony, whatever. But like, we're just having fun, having a gag, whatever. But you know what? In the fall, when I'm playing Xbox, what are they going to call me an Xbot now? Like, come on, man. We're just playing where the good games are. I don't care where they are. And if Microsoft is bringing the heat, then guess what?
I think that's the problem is that Xbox has had some pretty good games this generation. But this is the biggest one. This is like their biggest game that you've been waiting for because it's not Halo, Gears, and Forza. And it's not a smaller AA well-rated game. Like, this is a big deal. So there's a lot riding on it. Spartan661, thank you so much for the $10 He says Neil deGrasse Tyson needs to play this game. I would love to see his rendition or his opinion of the game on his podcast, Star Talk. That would be so fantastic. Just having an astrophysicist talking about it would sell to all. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get some remarks from Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's pronounced deGrasse, right?
Yeah, deGrasse. Yeah, I keep thinking Degrassi, but then I start thinking about the show.
I always say Degrassi. I think I said Degrassi in my video like a couple months ago, but I've watched him so much. Todd was explaining in an interview a year ago. It was one of the Bethesda updates about Starfield that they found a way to get space to fold around your ship, and like that's how you travel interstellar in the game. And I would love to hear Neil talk about what they got right or what they're projecting into the future could possibly be a thing, because they talk about these things on his show on Star Talk and on his when he's asked about traveling into the stars. So I would love to see that. 78 Incorporated US Gaming, thank you so much for the 10. He says, don't let idiots who haven't or will never play a game ruin your experience. I'm playing the game regardless of whoever or whatever a reviewer or hater thinks. A lot of his foolish fanboyism anyway. So
that's right. It's true.
Very well said. Silent Cypher with a 2 says, Colt, get a Toblerone. You'll thank us. I'll get one tomorrow, I promise. Gotham Guy with the 5 says, don't forget, guys, the Spider-Man sales included the PS4 bundles that sold during Black Friday. That was a big Black Friday, but hey, they sold consoles as well. And if you were going to buy a console just to get a game, Gotham Guy, I think that's actually a really good thing in favor of PlayStation that shows how powerful this console is and the game. Alan Adeltre, who's been a channel member for 50 months, says, what's up, Colt Mag? Thanks, Colt, for the great content. Thank you. All the way up until we started the show today, Meg, I finished a video that's going up probably on Thursday or Friday, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Man, I can't wait. Hargy Chani with the 5 says, Spidey sold 3.3 million at launch. I don't know what launch means, like the holiday season. Over 9 million in the first quarter to 90 million PS4s. Spidey 2 is launching to half the number of consoles.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Oh, speak on it. Speak on it, Mag.
Because it's only PS5, right? It's not going to the PS4. This is a PS5 only game, and now the thing is with that is that now you're looking at like half the. Well, you know what they're going to do? You know what they're going to do to try and offset this? They're going to try and offset this by doing the same thing they did with the Spider-Man 2018, which they did with the Black Friday. I say what they're going to do is that they're going to release the game as per usual. It's going to come out. It's going to be out for a few months, or no, I think it's a month or whatever it is. And then on Black Friday, they're going to release a PS5 Slim at a cheaper price, bundled with Spider-Man 2, and then that right there that's gonna bump it up another 10 mil right off the rip. Because what's gonna end up happening is at Black Friday at $100 cheaper, maybe $200 cheaper.
Are you saying the next year or a month after?
I think they're gonna go balls deep and just do it this year and bump up those sales. No, I didn't mean that in a nasty way. I was being just a.
The balls of their toes, the balls of their feet. Yeah,
they're just going to go
feet first. They're going to go feet first with the balls and whatnot.
Yes, don't listen to me, kids. Listen, what they're going to. I think they're going to do it this year, man. Because I mean, Black Friday is what the third Friday in November, right? Day after Thanksgiving.
The third Thursday or whatever they call it, Thursday, Friday.
Third Thursday is your Thanksgiving,
Friday,
and then the Friday,
whatever.
Right? So yeah,
we're not calendar here.
So that's almost 2 months of the game already being in circulation, right? Because doesn't it come out in September, if I'm not mistaken? Or is it October? No, September.
September 20th, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's September. Okay, so by then, the game's already been released out in the wild for 60 days. By then, you're going to pretty much exhaust, let's say, a lot of the people. Yeah, so it's going to be exhausting all the people that have bought it, like the big fans. The other thing is a lot of people are already going to buy it for kids for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. They've already bought that too because, they buy it ahead of time, they wrap it, whatever. So a lot of the sales are already going to be exhausted in that first 60 days, at least of the initial fans. Then what do? You release a bundle, right? Your PS5 Slim, and you release the bundle with that. I think that's coming, man. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's coming. That'll boost another 10 mil right off the top. And what they could do from there is that they could look at it and say, look, guys, we sold, you know what I mean, for their investors, right? For their investors, they go, we sold another 15 million consoles this quarter. We've sold 20 million Spider-Man. We broke another record. That gets people invested back into Sony stock.
That's
right?
a good strategy. I like that. I think that's good.
That's what they do, man. Hollywood does the same crap. They do the same thing. What do? They boost, especially Disney, with their stock plummeting into the dirt. But what they do is that they try anything to spin right around the time that investors go to buy, to purchase stock, and they look at it and then they spin it in a way they're like, "Yep, we broke records." Like for example, they did it with like Ant-Man, and they're like, "Ant-Man 3 outsold Ant-Man 2." It's like, yeah, because the ticket prices of movies were $4 cheaper when Ant-Man 2 came out. So like, you know what I mean? Because they jacked it up $4 more since the pandemic. And so that's what they try to do, man. And I think that Sony will do the same thing, and it's going to work, at least from an investor's point of view.
Right.
So,
right.
anyways, I might be wrong, and I'll be quiet now.
No. When you brought up the PlayStation 5 Slim, I have to check into this, but somebody in the chat said that NX Gamer is saying that he doesn't think that the PlayStation 5 Pro is actually a thing.
Like at all? Like at all?
At all, but I don't know.
Really?
If it is, we'll find out in the summer. But
I'm shocked. I'd be shocked because, I mean, I'm sure you've heard just as much as I have that this thing is a thing.
I've talked to a couple of really good sources that have got an eye on the tech hardware and the hardware testing. Yeah, there was a guy, Lethal Papa slammed the band hammer on a guy named like Zaire that said, these two, my grandmother was more about gaming than these two. I would love to meet your grandma because she must be a really smart person and knows a lot about console gaming in the games industry. Like, to know more than Mag and I, that would be one kick-A grandma. She's like Mrs. Doubtfire on roids. So shout out to your grandma.
What was the dude's name? Did you see his name?
Oh, I mean, I already forgot him. But, yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
Zaire,
we'll call him,
maybe? Zaire? Zaire's grandma. Shout out to Zaire's grandma, by the way.
We're going to call him Sheepshagger 420 for the sake we don't know what his name is. Anyways, listen, let me tell you something. Hey, does your grandma got a Lady Dimitrescu shirt like this? Huh? She got that? I don't think so. She's too busy wearing her dirty frock. Carry on, Colt.
Dirty frock. Oh, I was going to quote Mrs. Doubtfire, but it's been too long since I saw it. But shout out to Lethal Papa for Lethal Papa just got off of the top ropes and just, You should have left him in, Lethal Papa. We could have had at him. Yeah, I mean, it is ridiculous how much that we learn and read and study about this video games industry and how much we learn and know and hear from people. It's almost too much. Like, my wife gives me a hard time. She's like, hey, I need you to read this before we book this trip. And I'm like, she goes, pretend it's video games and you have to know. And I'm like, I don't want to, because, I'll read an article and dissect all the information. But, shout out to the people here. Over 1,200 people are here. You're here because you like, shout out to Sheepshagger 420. Young Shep says, you're here because you guys love this stuff as much as we do, and we really appreciate you for being there with us. We got to move on. I don't even know where we were, but quickly, I just want to say Xbox and Phil Spencer made the right choice, and I do not want to hear an argument from anyone. They made the right choice by saying, you know what, Baldur's Gate 3 is too important to miss our platform. Screw the parity on split screen. Yeah. Just put it out later as a patch. Let's get this game on console. Mag, do you have any disputation with that I said?
Ooh. No, listen. I'm happy that they're making the exactly. By the way, I just like to point out that Colt and I talked about this the week before I went on. Well, before both of us went on vacation, and we said the exact same thing. We said release the game on the Series X and on the Series S without the split screen co-op. Get the game out there, and you got to ride the wave, okay? You got to ride the wave while it's going. You got to. Yes. Should I use another saying?
I think that's what you said that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. We said the exact same thing. We're like, listen, just get it out there. Don't worry about if it's missing one feature in the Series S. Fine, someone will complain about it for 2 seconds, and then it's going to be gone.
Oh,
but
they did.
Who cares? Let them complain. People are always going to complain. The fact of the matter is that the game would be on the console, and like I said, you got to strike when the iron's hot as well.
What's more important, the parity of a mode, and I'm not going to minimize split screen. Like, minimizing
many
split
people
screen's
would use
importance. Well, minimizing it kind of takes away from the argument, right? I think.
All right.
Like if I try to minimize, say nobody really plays it anyway, so let's reason and justify it. That I think you nailed it. Ride the wave. Like this is an important time.
Very important.
This game's coming out. Everyone on PlayStation is going. No, they won't. They ain't gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But it's a big important game, and it's really highly rated. And I think Phil sat back and goes, "What's going on with this thing? Oh yeah, our parity clause, a split screen." It's like that's not worth it. Just tell them go ahead and make the game. Just go ahead and do it. And so I think the game's coming out in December. It'll come out a month or two after the PlayStation 5 version. And they said, good, we'll just continue to work on the split screen for Series S, and we'll get that out in a patch and an update in 2024. And I think it's really cool that they did that. But the concerned trolls were like, you've just opened the floodgate for all kinds of exceptions, and now games are going to launch without this or without that. And I'm like, don't do that. Nobody cares. This is such an outlier.
Exactly. You know what they should do, though? And this is something that I would actually say that Microsoft should actually spend a little bit of time with and work with the developer, is that you've made room. T. Durden here said it in the chat, and that's what actually drew my attention. You've got Starfield coming out the first week of September, right? You've got Baldur's Gate coming out on the PlayStation 5 the same week. What do you think is going to draw more attention? Now's not the time, actually, to launch Baldur's Gate with the PlayStation 5 version. Let them have it over there. That's fine. There's no problem. They can enjoy it. People on PC can enjoy it. Give Starfield its due time in the sun, okay? So it's going to play, doing its thing. Everybody's going to be playing that game anyway. And then what's going to end up happening is that you launch it in December, but seeing that you launch it in December and you've got no other games coming out on the Xbox in December, because you're going to have Starfield in September, you're going to have Forza Motorsport in October. Call of Duty is still not yours, not yours, you know what I mean? It's still not Xbox's, so it's going to be marketed with PlayStation if I'm not mistaken. All right, so that's still there. And you've got nothing coming out in December, probably something in the early part of 2024. So guess what? Work with the developer, work on some marketing, and really do a hard marketing push in December at the end of the year for Baldur's Gate on Xbox. That's what you got to do. Do that, and it will draw attention to there, and you'll get a heck of a lot of sales and a lot of engagement on that game on the Xbox in a time when people are going to be nearing the tail end of at least their initial run of, let's say, Starfield. And then, of course, Forza Motorsport, which is the kind of game that you kind of play, here and there forever. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. I think that'd be a great move. So that's what I say. And like I said, who the heck wants it releasing the same week as Starfield? It's ridiculous, right? So give them that 4-month window, man. Give them time to breathe. And between December and who knows when the next release is, it could be Senua's Saga. Maybe let's say February, March, or something. We don't know, right? Or whatever's coming quarter one of 2024. So give them time to breathe, man, and then really do a marketing push with the developers of that game in December. It's mutually beneficial. So it's beneficial for the developers because then they get a boost in sales, right? In December, 4 months, 5 months after the game has been released already, right? So now you're getting like a whole new wave of people looking at the game on a whole new on a whole different system. That's one for them, and then it's a win for Microsoft because you got people tuning in to the game on the Xbox. You're not getting it in Game Pass. I'll tell you that right now. That ain't happening.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, you're
happening.
right. Having a staggered launch on Xbox is really good for Larian Studios. And then, I mean, that's a win-win for Xbox because if people are like, oh, Baldur's Gate looks really good, but I want to play Starfield, then Xbox loses out on residuals. So if you get that space in there where people are like, okay, I'm ready to try Baldur's Gate, Larian gets to enjoy the PC launch, PS5, and Xbox launch. And I think part of that was them trying to avoid Starfield's crater, and I don't blame him, but whatever. In the end, Phil made the right choice, and I'm glad he did.
Mackerel.
So
Troysky in the chat brought up one more thing. I'm going to say this real quick. Let's also not forget that we've got the Cyberpunk expansion coming up. He mentioned that in the chat, and I was like, oh my god. And that's going to be hot. It's got Idris Elba, or Idris, I don't know. I'm calling Idris, okay?
So
Idris Elba
Yeah.
in there. I
Or
mean,
Idris.
man, is he great, right?
He
I
is
love him.
great.
Everything he does, he's great. So, I mean, what a travesty.
Bro, have you
He should have
seen
been
him
the
in
next James Bond?
Have you seen him as Charles Minor in the American Office, in the Office TV show? He plays a temporary boss. And he's just, I'm like, oh yeah, that's that one dude. He needs to be.
He should have been James Bond. It was
he should have been James Bond.
Travesty.
Yeah, I mean, holy crap.
He's too old now, and then they should have gone after what's his name too. There, what the heck is his name? Henry Cavill should have been James Bond as well. You missed the boat, folks. You missed the boat.
Henry Cavill can still do it. He's not that old.
He can still. No, he's not that old. He can still pull it off. He also could still be Superman. But what the heck do I know?
Well, they're gonna have Ed Sheeran be. I think that's what they're gonna do. I'll totally just pull the e-brake and we'll talk about something different. Thanks to Gaz and Wandering Dutch and Forza Irwin, who are at Gamescom, they reported on their time with Stalker 2, a timed launch exclusive for Xbox, a first-person shooter in the vein of Metro Exodus, and it's a Eastern European game made in Ukraine. The studio's gone through some crazy stuff, but apparently, Mag, the game does not look very nice at all and does not look finished. They're pushing it into 2024. And, I mean, I could say what the heck's going on, but we obviously know that they've gone through a massive, horrible, devastating war in their home country and in their studio, but not hearing great things about Stalker. And Stalker really needed to be a banger for this team to, redeem themselves and have something great after what they've gone through. Not redeem themselves, but redeem what they've gone through, their hardships in real life. But it sounds like Stalker doesn't look that great. I think Wandering Dutch said that it almost looked like Roblox at moments. I just can't believe it because the stuff we've seen looks like just fantastic. But I don't know, chat. What do you think about Stalker? I'm not waiting for the moment that game comes out, but I know when it does, I'm excited to play it. Let me know, chat. Let me know what you think. Do you have anything to say about that, Meg?
Again, we got to see what this game looks like in action properly, not a fluffed up version of whatever, you know what I mean? Like a vertical slice or whatever. Let's see the game in action. Again, I'm going to hold judgment until the game is out. If they delayed the game, obviously, let's face facts, folks. They delayed it for a reason, right? So, it's just, there's obviously a reason for it. And so you don't just delay it for the sake of delaying it. So the thing wasn't probably running right, looking good, that kind of thing. Great, not so great, whatever.
Could have been a driver problem on the PC they were playing on. He said he played on mouse and keyboard. And, I previewed a game only on PC, and you never know. You never know with PC. Like, they could have it set up so it looks unbelievable, like you've never seen before, or the game could just be having some weird problem with who knows what, but I don't know.
The thing is that you don't need another black eye in Game Pass in the same year as Redfall.
Yeah. True.
Right? So, you do not want to do that. Can you imagine, the press on that kind of thing? Like, you got Redfall, and then 6 months later, you got another dud. And then the other thing is, too, listen, I'm not taking away anything from those games, so please don't misconstrue what I'm saying, folks. But let's just face it, that Atomic Heart didn't exactly light the world on fire either. It wasn't a bad game, but it didn't light the world on fire. It was okay. And then that other one, Wolong, that was all right, too. But they weren't as big as we were hoping they would be, right? Like, we were hoping that Atomic Heart was going to be like the Russian Wolfenstein. You know what I mean?
It really did look like it could be something really, really special, and it was mostly kind of a chore to play. But I liked it. I'm glad it
was okay.
Do you ever say this? I say this a lot. I'm glad I played it.
Sure. I played it too.
Levi Sorensen says, let them cook. Yes, absolutely. Let them cook and let these people heal as well. If they need another year, oh man, that's 2-year delay, but this ain't a studio has a management problem. This studio is literally boxed out of there and gone to a safe location to continue working on a video game. So I don't have a lot to say about Stalker, but I wish them the best over there.
Yeah, I wish them the best too.
But you know what game does look really good and has looked way improved? According to Forza Irwin, who runs a racing channel, is Forza Motorsport. And
yes,
I was corrected pretty harshly that Phil and Turn 10 both promised over a year or two ago that this game runs 4K 60 with ray tracing on track.
Yes,
and
I did hear
we have yet to see the performance and quality modes, but according to those guys who got hands-on with the game, and somebody who will have hands-on with the game soon, I don't know who that could be, but Forza has gotten even more visual improvements and is looking and feeling better. I cannot wait to see what happens. I know there's people that don't care about racing games or sim type games, but I have the steering wheel, and I know, just let me say this. I'm going to sit down and play that game with Spotify in my headphones and hearing the engine and listen to my own music, and I'm going to race for hours and do a bunch of the things, and I'm looking forward to it. They give you XP for taking corners and turns just right, and that you can unlock stuff, so it's going to feel like a fun video game, I think, so I'm excited. Meg, do you have anything to say about Forza? I think I'm the Forza guy here, but...
Yeah. I'm more of a Forza Horizon player. I enjoy them. I play through the story mode or whatever else. It's funny because, tastes change as you get older, right? And like as you go along. I used to be a monster racing fan. I was huge into racing. Midnight Club, Rockstar's Midnight Club, LA edition, whatever the heck it was called. The Need for Speed Underground series. I adored that. That was at the height of actual Fast and Furious movies where, it was actually about cars, not about blowing up buildings in Dubai with with tanks or whatever the heck they're up to. It's like those games were hot. I played them for hours and hours and hours. I adored those games. I still love my Forza Horizons, but I've dropped off a little bit because now I really enjoy the open world RPG thing is really my big thing now, right? So, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to be firing it up because by the time Forza Motorsport comes out, I will obviously be back in the Game Pass ecosystem because I'll be playing Starfield. So I'll be playing Starfield. I'll be playing Forza Motorsport. I'm going to check it out. I don't have anything against track racing. I used to play Ridge Racer all the time. I played hundreds and hundreds of hours of Ridge Racer. Come on, man, those games were hot. And I love that stuff, man. I think it's a lot of fun. So I will give it its due time. I'm not a monster like car nut. I've been blessed to be able to, drive and be a part of a lot of those incredible cars. Not mine, but I've been able to do all that kind of stuff. So it's been a lot of fun. However, that being the case, is that now I just going to play the game probably about 20, 30 hours. I could see myself playing it. But I'm not going to sit there and, I'm not going to fart around with like the axles and like the springs and all that stuff. Like, I mean, maybe if I do this, the car balance will do this. I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like when I last summer and this summer too, you get into like a pretty exotic cars and stuff like that, get into a Bugatti or something like that. I don't care what the springs look like. I don't care what the axle weighs. I don't care how much pressure's in the tire. I just think, hey, that's really cool. You know what I mean? And that's about it, right? That kind of thing. So, but like, I'm going to play the game for the game. Play the circuits, play the championships, get the medals, do whatever it is I got to do. Have some fun with it, move on. Because then Call of Duty's coming out, right? A few weeks later, and Spider-Man's coming around the same time. Yeah,
it's been like this every year of our gaming lives. Like, then there's this, then there's this, then there's this, then there's this.
And let's not forget, by the way, also, we got Alan Wake 2, which looks fire. Okay?
Yeah.
That game looks incredible. Did you see the new footage they released for Gamescom?
No, I didn't.
Holy dude.
Tell me about it.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Your eyeballs will literally melt out of your skull.
Are we looking game of the year contender, bro?
Well, I don't know, dude. There's so many hot games this year. I mean, you got Tears of the Kingdom, you've got Baldur's Gate, you've got Starfield. I mean, those three alone, right? I mean, Alan Wake, but I'll tell you something. Your eyeballs will literally explode. You're gonna look like Sandra Bullock the next week with a big, Leonardo rag around your head like that stupid movie she was in. Anyways, here's the thing. Is that
what are you talking about? Birdcage or whatever it was called?
Whatever the hell that movie was.
What was it? No, Birdcage is the one with the.
No, that's the one with Robin Williams,
which is fantastic.
Yeah,
what was
movie,
it called?
By the way, but
what was it called?
I don't know. It was just something that, like, if you looked at something,
everyone talked about it like a couple years ago, and I watched it with my kid. What was that movie? Blind Bird Band, Bird Bath. Was that what it was? Bird Bath? Where's the chat? What's the name of the movie where she has to blindfold herself so she won't go into a murderous rampage?
Yeah, I know. So
Bird Box. There they go.
Bird Box.
What do you like? Birdcage.
I don't know, whatever, birdcage. So, anyways, listen, the footage looks incredible. I
Of what?
really like the idea.
Oh, Alan Wake.
that
Alan
you-
Wake 2.
For Alan Wake 2. I
Okay.
really like the idea that you could play as Alan Wake, and of course, you could play as the FBI agent. So you're getting two perspectives. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Resident Evil 2. Remember when you got to play as two different characters?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and it branched off into two
Leon
different directions.
and Janice or whatever her name is.
Yeah, it was great. I love that. So,
Wait,
I'm
it was
really looking forward
Leon
to-
and
No, it wasn't Janice. What the heck?
Megady,
Colt?
Megady or Megan. What was her name? Leon
No,
and
it wasn't.
Leon
Oh my
and,
God.
and Sarah. What was her name?
By the way, flipping minds. Thank you. He said bird droppings. By the way, yeah.
Yeah, he said bird
turnbuckles,
shiz.
277.
What? Yeah, Yodani Kazadi. Yeah, the movie with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane is freaking hilarious. Came out like Night Sandy Box.
Yeah, thanks.
What was Sandy? Janice and Leon were in Resident Evil 2 or Claire. There it is. It's Claire.
See what someone wrote, Janice. What the f? Yeah.
I always do that to
Just
my
make it
family.
funny.
Hates me when I do that. I'm like, what about Elmo down the road? Elmo? His name's not Elmo. I'm like, oh, what's his name? A little, like, Cookie Monster, whatever his name is. But yeah, that's
look, we
such a
got Alan Wake
tangent.
2
So Alan Wake 2 is
looking
looking
great.
pretty hot, huh?
Dude, it's looking incredible. And I just, as I told you, I just finished the Alan Wake remastered, and I played through it twice. I loved it. Got every ounce out of that game. Okay, I got the platinum because I played on PlayStation because it was for free on PS Plus. So that's how you save your dollars, kids. So, anyways, I played it on PS
I bought
Plus.
the remaster and I've yet to.
Platinum.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's fantastic, man. I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed going back and doing that. So now I'm looking forward to this, and man, does it ever look good. And that new footage, check it out. I think it was Mads Gaming. Go check him out. I think he did a whole expose on it. Anyways, so that looks really great. You've got Assassin's Creed Mirage in the mix.
Oh, jeez,
Right?
I forgot about
Yeah,
that one.
I know, dude. And this is all within a month of Forza Motorsport. So Forza Motorsport's probably going to get about 20 to 30 hours out of me. Other than that, dude, forget it. And then when all's said and done, you've got Baldur's Gate. Assuming that I'm interested, really play it. I'm not really a turn-based guy, but the thing is, all this December, you've got that Pandora game from Ubisoft that looks fantastic. So
Oh, wait. When's that one coming out?
that's December, man. First week of December. And that looks really good. And
Yeah.
it's a co-op game too, man. They're showing more and more footage.
If
They are very confident in that game.
I promise
they're
you,
very confident in it.
if that game mostly feels like Far Cry, but it's set in the Avatar universe, I will probably love it, even if it feels derivative. Like I will probably just get into that, and I don't
it
know.
looks great.
Uh,
And I do work with Ubisoft. When they're hyped for a game, they know they got something special.
yeah.
And they know when they got a oh boy, I almost said something nasty. December 7th. Thank you. And then Jedi J Goldie there. We got Liza P. We've got Mortal Kombat 1. Holy mackerel, folks! Open up those wallets.
Yeah. It's like
That's a
now
heck
you know
of
why
a
people
fall.
are like, is it on Game Pass? Is it on Game Pass? And they open their
the
wallet
thing
and
is-
moss fly out.
And yeah, no kidding. Third party is coming. Is basically it's got a strong showing this fall. You've got Xbox with a strong showing, and then you got Sony with Spider-Man. But I think that's basically it that they all got for the year, right? So I think. And Nintendo, doesn't Nintendo have anything coming up? I mean, are they
Super
still
Mario
riding up
Wonder
Tears
is
of-
coming out but
Oh,
Nintendo
yeah.
probably has other stuff, but I don't have my finger on that
I'm
pulse.
not putting my finger on the pulse of the Nintendo
Yeah, I don't-
community anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not a slight against them. It's just
same.
not.
Same.
Yeah. And so I just see that, it is what it is. But it's gonna be a strong fall, man. I'm really excited, and we're kicking it off in not even a week.
The whole 2023 year has been insane. Like, with the Resident Evil game and you got Armored Core, which is also supposed to be pretty good. I mean, I see it. I'm like, I don't know. Let me grab a couple supers. We got James Baker says, new follower, can't wait for Starfield. Awesome, James. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And thank you so much for the super. And keep your eyes peeled. 2 videos I'm going to have regarding a game at the end of the week. So yeah, it's crazy. Jimbo Jangles with the $5. Thank you. He says, I'm getting those painful blue feet waiting for Starfield's release. Painful blue feet. Oh, the balls of his feet are very painful right now, Mag. Oh my gosh, we're making memes left and right. Jason Lewan, says, I just hope that this isn't the end of the Series S. No, I don't think so, Jason. I think the RAM is really tough for developers to work with. And what it means is they have to spend more time. I've said this on the show, but it's a simple statement. That means they have to spend more time optimizing than they normally would have to with more RAM. And as developers, they get to a certain point and they're done. The game's ready to go. And they're running into issues because of that RAM, and so I have to take more time. And that's time, I think, at the end of the project, they feel like they don't have anymore, and they're ready to ship and just get paid for the publisher. So Spartan661 says, thank you for the super. He says, Phil has laid the law on the tablets of life, and he is letting you know the law will happen in time. Xbox is not backing down. Microsoft is on your butt, he says. I don't really want to talk about this, but I'll just say it for the sake of this is a news podcast, that Xbox signed a divestiture for the rights for Activision Blizzard games to go to Ubisoft to get any and all pressure away from them with the CMA. The CMA has backed them in this corner. I think it's ridiculous. I think they should have put their foot down, but this is where it's at. And I don't know. I guess whatever.
Just close the deal, man. Just make the you know what I mean?
Yes.
At this point, just make the concessions, try to keep them quiet, get it done, get it over with, and then you can dominate later.
Yes.
You know what I mean? By the way, my wife texted me in the middle of the show. She says, they aren't too old to play James Bond, but that doesn't matter. Tom Hardy would be the best James Bond. Obviously, my wife is upstairs. She's upstairs listening to the show, and now she's sending me...
Shout out to Meg's wife for checking out XNC. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's listening to Meg XNC while she's upstairs, obviously, and now she's smack-talking me in text messages. Love you, honey. Happy birthday. Anyways, carry on, Colt.
Yeah, for some reason, your camera went to like a glitched pixel screen, but we can hear you fine.
I turned it off.
Oh, you turned it off. Okay.
I turned it off, so it probably went a little bit funny for a couple of seconds.
You know how Discord is, yeah.
Discord, because I went to go refill my water.
It looks like a real. I should get a screenshot. It looks like something cool I'd hang up on my wall.
I just saw it. It looks like a Jackson Pollock painting.
It's awesome, Meg. That's amazing.
I'm looking at it right now. You see that, folks?
No, nobody screenshot that and try to sell it on eBay. That belongs to Mag. Don't be stealing his art.
You see the artistic expression we put on XNC for you guys. We even put interpretive art.
This is what we do. This week, we found out that Immortals of Avian, an EA first-person shooter with magic hands, much like Avowed, are you ready for this, Mag? On Xbox Series S. It is running at 486p, 60 frames. But using a FSR solution up res to run at a higher resolution, and it drops all the way down to 720p on Series X and PS5, but it's been upscaled to run on a 4K screen. But Digital Foundry said when you move the camera, there's all kinds of shimmering and stair-stepping, and this is an Unreal Engine 5, and I have to ask the question. I don't want to talk about Immortals because the game hasn't reviewed very well, and people are saying they enjoy it. It's one of those things, right? I'll get to it when I get to it. It's like one of those games that's not going to fit right now for me. But are we looking at developers doing super low res, or you think we're going to see more 30 FPS, higher quality video games with Unreal Engine 5?
I would go with option number 2, to be quite honest. But, I mean... 4.8, come on, man. What is happening here? Did they have the dev kit for 6 days? You know what I mean? They're just like, all right, let's just see what we shove into this. I don't know. I read this whole thing.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, no. I was just gonna say, I've heard other people talk about it, and I'm just like, I think they're making mountains out of molehills here, because we're not talking about a massive developer here that look at what some of these other guys are pulling.
I'm hearing that the game's really nice looking regardless of the complaints from, Digital Foundry, but it's also using nanites and lumen, which is a geometry mixed with, nanites being the lighting system, or nanites being the geometry system, lumens being a ray tracing type solution in Unreal Engine 5, which is really taxing. The demo we saw for it in 2020 was running at 30 FPS and looked really great. You had that girl that was flying around inside the tomb, and it was running at 30 and it looked really beautiful. But to get it at 60 apparently many concessions need to be made. And I got a great response here from James Stannard, who's an Xbox engineer who I've talked to quite a bit, and he's replied to a lot of my things. And he says, and I think what he's saying here to kind of help him out, he's not speaking directly about this game. This is regarding another game. So he's just making a general statement when it comes to games running in performance. He said, quote, if you're going to clamp frame rate to 30 FPS, you can use up to 33.3 milliseconds of GPU time, which is one frame in a 30 frames render per second, the 33.3 milliseconds. 33 milliseconds being if you get 1 second of gameplay, you're going to get 30 times of that image in animation. He said you can use one frame of the GPU for lots of pretty pixels. This is what is meant by tuned for 30 FPS. If CPU load isn't so heavy or erratic, you can easily tune for 60 FPS. And end quote, meaning you can't just turn down graphics or turn down features and get 60 FPS. This gets into discussion with Starfield because they're like, what does it take to get it to 60? Can we lower the resolution? And developers will tell you, you can't just lower the resolution call because there's much more to it. You can't just change the graphics, or I guess in some instances it would be for Immortals of Aviem. I know it's tech heavy. I'll finish it here. Nanites and Lumen being a really great lighting solution is the reason why it's running so low in resolution. And then, I don't know. It just worries me that we're not even halfway through the generation if it lasts 5 or 6 years, and games are already like just struggling to do what they did last gen. And I don't know. Am I saying that right?
Could it be? No. Like,
I'm going to ask the audience. Go ahead.
Yeah, ask the audience, and I want to kind of like sort of pose a question. Is it possible that we're on the precipice of a great change in technology, that maybe this is a rough patch where they're not really sure how to translate with the new tech? Like, listen, I'm not a tech guy. I'm just saying this is like is this a reason why, a possibility as to why there's a struggle now because we're about to hit a new level?
Yeah, like developers are pushing harder.
5 and Yeah. And so, like, and as a result of that, they're sort of stumbling here before they maybe get some, like, before the rubber hits the road, so to speak. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm posing questions here because I'm not the tech guy. That's a dealer thing or whatever, or you, or maybe Jez. I don't know, but certainly not me. So but it is, at least from my perspective, it just seems somewhat puzzling. That's all. As to what's happening. I'm like, what is happening right now? Are people maybe having difficulty translating, their work into like the Unreal Engine 5 or whatever the heck is going on here? I don't know. And like I said, these are all questions I'm posing because I will not be a poser and say I know anything about the tech, because I definitely don't.
Well, I mean, I talk a lot of tech, and I just have a cursory knowledge of what we're talking about and just try to break it down as simple as I can. And I've learned a lot from people like Dealer, and I've talked to people and try to learn along the way, but there's just so many situations I think the developers have to deal with. So it's, I don't know, it's tough. Ted Eustace says, give Colt Mag a like. Yeah, hit the like button if you're enjoying the show.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we appreciate
great turnout tonight, and a lot of happy people in the chat. Actually, it's been really a lot of fun. A lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, it is fun. It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
We also heard from AMD.
Slower, by the way.
What's that? You're talking slower?
I've been talking slower, and you know what? Some people have actually noticed that. I've been like a little bit more poignant about how I speak and whatever. And actually, I've been getting a lot of I've been noticing a lot of people talking about the new lighting. They're happy about that, and they're happy that they can actually keep up with what I'm saying. I mean, unless you get me really worked up, then then I turn into like the auctioneer at the cattle ranch. But until then, we're gonna keep it cool and calm, and we're having a good old time.
I mean, if it's just you and me, like we can lay back in the pocket and get that rhythm going. But when you get on a show with like 9 people, you're clawing through their arms and hands and trying to get to the top to breathe. We all know it.
Can I say one thing? No.
Or in those podcasts, it's like, not to interrupt you, but I have been sitting here for an hour. Not to
interrupt you, but I'm totally interrupting you.
Yeah. So AMD announced that FSR 3 is coming, and I have to wonder, I won't get into the topic of the tech, but I just have to wonder, is any of that extra powerful up-res that also gives you, because FSR gives you a sharper image at the cost of giving you more performance left over by upscaling without algorithms. So I'm like, is any of this ever going to get us over the hump from some of these games that'll be at 30? That's a question we're going to have to answer probably in the next few months or early next year. So, yeah. So let me grab a couple questions here. I want to talk about Gears 6. This is back in the discussion thanks to Xbox Era Special Nick, who he's been talking to somebody that is kind of giving him hints, and I'll just leave it at that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Cerebral Assassin, thank you for the 5. He says, thank you guys for the great show every week. Feeling better from my leg injury. He broke his leg falling, didn't he? No, somebody broke their foot last week. Cerebral, I forgot about your injury. I'm so sorry. I know what it's like to have an injury, and my shoulder went crap and from falling, and you just can't be you for a little bit. But Drew Peanuts with the 2. That's a great name. Trying Forza on my PC.
Name. I like that name.
Yeah, I knew you would. You like all names that have an homage to food.
I think it's hilarious because they're always so funny. It'll be like, you know, I'll go on Xbox Live or something, or like even on the PlayStation Network, and some guy will hit me up and his name is like Sorrowful Asparagus. And I'm just like, you know, or it's like Rambunctious Broccoli. And they're like these most ridiculous names ever. And they make me laugh.
I know that.
Because they're so funny because I'm trying to picture what a rambunctious broccoli would look like. But anyhow, carry on, Colt.
Somebody's trying to get that gamer tag right now, Mag. Somebody's trying to get that gamer tag. Drew says he's playing Forza on his PC to see how it looks. I don't know what your PC is, but I bet it's going to look really nice.
Oh, dude, it'll look fire for sure.
Quick story about, people think I don't know about PC, but I remember Forza Apex was the free PC version of Forza Motorsport 6. It had 5 tracks, 20-some cars, and it was free to download on PC. And I had a GTX 960. So back in 2015, I had the entry-level NVIDIA gaming GPU. It was like a $300 GPU. And I don't want to bore you, but I loaded up Forza Apex, and I could not get the game to run smoothly. I'm like, it runs fine on Xbox One, and I've got an $800 PC, and I can't get it to hold 60. That game alone pushed me to upgrade my GPU like 2 years later. The cycle never ends. Homeless Bird with a 5 says, I'm excited to try Jusant, as there seems to be a meditative quality to the gameplay along with a lovely minimalistic sound music score. Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom are fantastic. Do you know about Jusant, Mag?
No.
I haven't looked into it, but
No, I have not. Tears of the Kingdom, yes. You know why I know about Tears of the Kingdom? Because I bought it. It's in the plastic, and it's still sitting on the shelf. I haven't even opened it, I'm just like, why did this happen? And I just happened to be going through the mall with my kids, and they're like, and they saw it and they went nuts, and I'm like, fine. I'm like, well, everybody's
the peer pressure.
Yeah, and then I ended up buying the stupid thing, and it's still in the plastic, and no one's turned it on yet.
I'm worse. I played Tears of the Kingdom for like an hour or so, and I'm like, no, I don't like it. And that makes me a bad person because everybody else loved it.
Lady Foxfire, calm down. You said Gears, and now she's lost her damn mind.
Oh, bro, let me get to Gears. Lady
Foxfire, I love you. Just kidding around.
Abacab72, thank you for the 5. Says, do you think PS4 Pro will make Phil look foolish by being beat out by power, which he said would never happen? Yes, it would. A PS5 Pro would make Xbox consoles look ridiculously weak for a very, very long time until 2028 if they wait that long. So, not cool. Gears 6. I was talking to Jez Corden at the E3 showcase, and he said we should be seeing it soon. They were going to show it at the showcase in June, and they decided to wait. Maybe to wait for a better time or wait until something was finished. But all I heard was Gears 6 looks insane on Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, dude, there's no question.
Yeah. So
sorry, carry on. Yeah.
No, that's okay. I mean, I gave you a moment to say something. It's okay, Meg. No,
that's it. I just have to say, it's gonna be
Special
fire.
Nick's. You know it's gonna look amazing. Special Nick says he's hearing that from Xbox Era that Gear 6 is more of an open world advancement from what they did from 5. So he says it's not
Seen
fully
that.
open world, but what he's thinking is they're expanding what they did by giving you a more open area to play. And like I said, I hope they introduce some of the gear upgrades or system-based items like in your weapons and gear. I think that'd be really cool. Give you a reason to go look in that cave or go over to that outpost and see what's there for your character, and give you that. There is something, Mag, about the investment to your character. Like when you were playing Hogwarts, like everything you did was in service to make you a better wizard and give you better gear and better wands that did things. Like, and it was part of the motivation, right? Because you thousand that, you platinum that sucker.
I got it. No, I didn't platinum. I got the 1,000 of 1,000 on Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played that on Xbox, but I didn't.
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
that
end
was
up playing
Resident
it on
Evil 4.
PlayStation.
But yeah,
Resident Evil 4 was after that. Yeah.
Do you want that for Gears?
Yes, of course I do. Of course I do. Give me a character that's weaker. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want an OP guy that's just gonna destroy everybody and like. I want something that's a little bit weaker that gives me the opportunity to say, you know what, I'll be back for you in about 20 hours. You know what I mean? And then like you go to an area and a guy just absolutely shreds you and your friends.
I love that.
And then that's when you give that thing. It's just like what the hell is that game? Elden Ring. You know, it'd be like, all right, dude. You know, jerk with the horse. You know, the guy with the horse.
Oh, in the beginning?
Dude, I'll be back in 25 hours, and then we're going to have a little discussion, right? So it's the same idea.
And you hit him with a Toblerone bar?
Exactly. A 4-pound Toblerone bar right to the face. That will kill that idiot on the horse, no problem. This is what I want with Gears. Give me a reason to be able to go back to areas. Give me that RPG feel. Like I said, start me off not weak, but like weaker. You know what I mean? Let me build up to something. I don't want to just be like switching the same guns over and over and over. And I've got the one with the chainsaw. I already forget the name. You know, you get the Gnasher and then the pistol and blah, 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 blah. And then you go back to that. Like, you know what I mean? It gets repetitive and boring. Give me something a little different with this game. You gave it time to breathe between 5 and 6. So now give me a little something different. You're going to be working with Unreal Engine 5. The Coalition are masters of working with Unreal Engine. Look what they did with Hivebusters. Hivebusters, and like I said, I was getting a little tired of Gears. By the time Gears 5 rolled credits, I was like, you know what? I could not play Gears for another 10 years and I'd be totally okay. And then Hivebusters came out and I was like, yo, this game is amazing. And
I wish it wasn't 3 hours. It went by so fast.
I played through it multiple times with people, getting the 100%. I went through it with Cybernox. We went through it a couple times, got all the treasures and all the little collectibles and whatever, and we had a great time doing it. And boy, was it a looker. You know what I mean? And it played so well and it looked great. And I'm like, man, you know what?
They were almost there. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, to myself, I'm like, you know, I just said that I don't want to see Gears for another 10 years. I'm like, after Hivebusters, I'm good for Gear 6. I'm like, if this is what we're going to be looking at and playing, I'm like, I'm hyped for this. You know, give me something a little different, a little bit bigger, a little bit more open world. Give me some RPG elements. Give me all that stuff. I'm in, baby. Let's go for it. You know, Halo kind of touched on it too, man. Like Halo Infinite, you were able to
they could have gone a little further, and
they could have gone just a little farther with it, but they had the right idea. They were on the right road. Oh, dude, I love Halo Infinite. I think Halo Infinite was a great game. Just nobody played it.
Yeah, I forgot that. I mean, I think I gave Halo Infinite a 9 out of 10 or 90 out of 100.
I loved it.
I forgot that you put points in your perks to allow you to do bigger and better things. I think there's 3 levels for each item. So like when I leveled up the grappling hook to do like a super punch, with, you know, that was so great. And when we talk about Gears,
boom,
yeah, I love that. And when we talk about Gears being more open, I can't remember what I was going to say, but it's not going to be, if it's not going to be a big open world. I know people want, like Gaz or some of my other friends said they want like a horror-based linear shooter, and I'm like, but I want to go around and do what you said. I want to start with pretty good gear and just get bigger and more powerful by the end, because this is what I was going to say, is they had kind of the right idea. I don't know if it worked for a full Gears game, but you had those cooldown powers, but you only had one. Yeah. Like if you played as the red-haired guy, I forgot his name. He had the he had the. Did he have the regenerating ammo? I can't remember.
I remember they all had that one. Yeah, I know.
It's been one guy had the shield. One had drops down where everyone stands in a circle and regenerates ammo.
What's it called?
And then there was another power. But
Call of Duty had it. You know what they're like operators. It was like it was like a cooldown thing, and then they had the operators that would be able to you like the shield and all that kind of stuff.
People love that. They love having the person picking a person that can do a certain thing and making that the way you play. And I mean, it sounds like the chat's kind of a split, but they kind of see where we're coming from. I said Gear 6 ? Would you like open world mechanics or a linear corridor shooter? And 60% are saying RPG and 40% are saying linear corridor shooter. And I'm with you on both, because either one would be great. But Xbox needs that semi-open world with RPG mechanics. Unfortunately, they got to do one more with Kate, who I really like Kate as a character. But maybe the open world RPG style Gears is set for the next game, where you start out with you pick your cog, or they have a new character and you build him up like he's a newbie, or he or she is a newbie. But I don't know.
To Gaz's point about doing like,
you're going to agree with him for once?
I am going to agree with him. I know I just joke with him all the time. Gaz, I'm just kidding with you. Love you. The thing is, to his point, if you go like the more corridor style shooter, let's say like more like a Gears 1, and make it more horror based, why not do that as just like they did with Hivebusters? You release a couple of DLCs on the side, one here, one there, one every 6 months or once a year, and you release 2 or 3 of those, right? You put them in the Game Pass, you get people back re-engaged into Gear 6, into like the the multiplayer and stuff like that. Like, keep it fresh. You know what I mean? So at that point, you could tell side stories. So you're going to tell stories in the world of Gears, but not with the main characters. I think I think that's a great idea. I think that's something that a lot of games could explore a little bit more and do things like that. I think that's a good idea anyway, and be able to expand the universe in a way they say, you know what? For example, actually, one of my favorite Gears games was Gears of War Judgment. Why?
Same.
Because it was such a unique idea of, we're in the middle of a courtroom drama, and the testimony was the gameplay.
The flashbacks, and you know what? I
loved. It was a testimony.
I loved the challenge on the wall. You'd walk in, that red icon would be there, and it's like only kill with shotguns, and I'm like, okay. And then you're not just going through and shooting, like you had an objective that you were trying to do. Like, I don't know, maybe I was the only one who liked that, but I loved Gears Judgment, and I think it got like a 71 or 72.
I thought it was I thought it was a fun game, and I thought, like I said, the idea was unique. It was not part of the main series, so you had your series with with all the guys. Did People Can Fly make that? Yes, they did, I believe.
They did a good job. I never liked Baird until that game. Like, I always thought Baird was annoying, like the loudmouth, blonde-headed guy in your high school. Like in Gears 1 and 2, like I didn't like him. And then when I played Judgment, like then I really liked him, because he wasn't so tough in that game. He was scared. He was scared. Yeah.
This Glairan guy said something interesting, which is actually funny. I was going to say that. Wrap up the Kate story in the opening of the game. Make that like the first hour.
Couple hours, yeah.
Or whatever, and get the story closed, and then open it up into into something else where you get to maybe pick your own character, create a character, do this, and then carry on the story from there.
Lady Foxfire, what do you think of that in the chat? Let us know in the chat what you think of it.
The story of Kate way too long. Like, just, man, like, okay, let's just figure this out and just get it over with, and let's go in a different direction now. Because I think people, by the end of Gears 5, people are pretty tired of the story, of her story. I like her as a character and everything else, and I got nothing against it. I just say, and what's his name, Son, and everything else. I'm like, ugh, they're all right.
I didn't like JD in Gears 4, and then by the end, he was really humbled, and I was like, I kind of like him, but then you make tough choices at the end. So I don't know. There's a lot to say about Gears. A lot to say.
I say they open up the story. I think they need to open up the story and carry it in a different direction, and like, you know what I mean, like just keep it a little bit more open-ended, and then be able to expand on that. And like I said, and then you could do the Destiny 2 style thing where you get like an expansion here, an expansion there, and that's where you could tell individual stories in the world of Gears, but more corridor horror stories, survival stories. You know, how about a survival story of a father who used to be a Gear or whatever, you know, and then he's protecting his wife and his 2 kids. Or his wife, you know, or him and his wife are protecting his 2 kids and his brother-in-law or something. I don't know. And they have to get from one end of the city to the other end of the city.
And the city's
to get to a safe zone.
And the city's made out of Toblerone bars, and it's like really hot, and it's starting to melt. They got to get there before the nougat like freezes their legs to the ground.
Well, anyway, that's the story. You get from A to B. You're trying to get to the safe house on the other end of the city, and the story's about that family trying to stage next. I think it is. I can't say it probably. The Kate story's good. I just think it's getting a little long in the tooth now.
You guys can't even spell her name correctly. It's Kiat.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I say I like it. It's fine. Like I said, the story's fine. I got nothing wrong with it. It's just it's too long. It's going on way too long, and I'm like, okay, guys, you know, like at the side of the stage, or like behind the camera in Hollywood, the guy's going, okay, guys, wrap it up, let's go. It feels like they need to wrap it up and move on. But anyways.
Yeah, I mean, Boba Fett says the roadie run feels old to me, and they did smooth it out in the newer games with the Coalition, but I want to say something really controversial, but I would like, instead of a roadie run, I would like your character to be able to move around the world, even if they can climb a couple of short walls. Like, I feel like your character is so cemented to the ground in those games, and I would like them to move around a little bit, but it doesn't. Lady Foxfire spells it right. I don't know. I just want that to be, I want there to be more freedom of movement, because the shooting in Gears 4 and 5 is, you ready for this? I think it is some of the best third-person shooting mechanics. It is my favorite for sure. Whenever I would go back and just dink around in the Horde mode in Gears 5 just to get into combat and play it, every time I'd be just with a controller just lining up shots, and I'm not even good. It just feels great. Let me go to Trail Roberts. Thank you for the 2. He says Armored Core 6, awesome.
Yeah. Glitch
Doctor with a €5 says, be careful which troll you're banning, Colt. It might be Mag's wife. Laugh out loud. Spartan661, thank you for the 5. He says, Fender Gibson, he's talking about guitars. Does it matter for your own sound or your own tone? Have you experimented, and do you have a preference? I have a Les Paul, and over here I have a Fender Stratocaster, and they sound slightly different, but it's all down to pickups, and it's really how you play and it's about how your hand works with the guitar, but they all sound great. And I'll tell you this, it's not a guitar show, but you can spend $100 to $150 on a guitar and it will sound phenomenal. Just trust me. Robert Jackson with the $5 says, yo, Colt, been a subscriber since day one. Just wanted to say you are one of the best. Thanks for the videos, bud. We appreciate you. Robert Jackson's been around for a while, and he's been on the Patreon or channel membership for a long time. And I don't know if he really means day one, but if he does, it would be funny if he actually saw my K&N cold air filter video, or me with doing a stop motion animation with the Transformer, or making a Pinewood Derby car. Like, that was like day one. I'm talking like 06, 07 on YouTube. Just hanging out, just having a good time. We are way over. I was supposed to talk about Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls. So I'll say this as our closing topic. Recently, Todd Howard said he wishes he would have announced Elder Scrolls 6 in a different way and more casual, because in 2018 at their E3 event, he had a huge flyover animation we've seen a million times. It flew over the countryside and to a mountain with a city, and it said Elder Scrolls 6, and that was it. And basically 10 years later, the game would come out, or will come out. So we haven't heard anything new outside of some tidbits. So if you haven't listened to a lot of what Todd Howard said in interviews, they built the whole first mission, the character creation, some of the campaign is kind of set up. So they're quite a ways to it, but they've been all hands on deck for Starfield over the past 3 years. So I would hope to hear something soon about that. But then there's a really great looking Fallout show. So I don't know when Fallout 5's coming. But Meg, are you able to make it until then?
Don't hold your breath. It's going to be a long time. And that's fine. And I actually have a sneaking suspicion that both of those games are going to be next-gen consoles. They're not going to be on the series consoles.
Probably not. If they were next-gen. Yeah, I can't see why they would.
Next gen is not even going to be that far away. We're approaching the tail end of 2023. I think the next gen will be around 2026, 27, somewhere around there. Maybe they might stretch it to 28. I doubt it.
They said they would to 28 meg, but I mean, I'm like, why are you waiting so long? Just put a console out. You and I were saying on the show like 2 or 3 weeks ago that we would not mind them being like every 4 or 5 years put out a new console, and we tried to convince you guys you shouldn't mind either. Is that kind of psychotic to say?
No, but, I think that you're gonna see Elder Scrolls first is my opinion, and then you're gonna see Fallout 5.
Like 6 years later.
We are talking like 2030 for Fallout 5, I think.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're looking at next gen consoles. So don't even worry about it. Don't even think about it. Forget about it. Forget about it. Anyway, just forget about it this generation. Just play what we got coming. Yeah, just play what we got coming. There's a lot of games coming. There's a lot of games coming to Game Pass, third party. PlayStation's got a bunch of stuff coming up. If you like Nintendo, go play that too. Hey, man, there's a lot of games. We'll revisit this conversation in like 4 years.
Oh my gosh. Well, like you said, there's games coming out all the way. It's going to pack the rest of the year, and then after that, it's like
lots of time.
Here it comes. So, Meg, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, man.
And the chat, hanging out with me, and what do you have planned for the rest of the week?
Well, I'm working 7 days a week for the next this week and probably next week, and then into the long weekend. So hopefully by then, but I still won't be doing a whole lot of gaming. Maybe some gaming this week, but not really much. I will be waiting till after the long weekend, and then it's Starfield time, and then we can dig our claw. I could dig my claws into that, and then we'll see what's going on. So.
Yeah,
we'll see what's going on. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody kind of takes on the week. I know it's going to be really crazy when review scores start coming in, how people are going to react either way. But if you're in Washington or Seattle area, see if you can make it into PAX. I'm going to be out there hanging out. I'm looking forward to meeting Samurai KBG in person. I've already hung out with Miles Dampierre, but yeah, we're going to be hanging out there for a couple days, and then back to everything. Trail Roberts with the 2 says Starfield, cigars, and whiskey. I think that's
like a good old time.
I think that's a Leonard Skinner song. I'm pretty sure, or George Thorogood.
I'll take all three of those. Listen, here's the thing. Anybody goes and meets Colt at PAX, please do me a favor. Take a picture with him with a Toblerone bar. You have to bring it, though. You have to bring it. You bring a Toblerone bar, bring it, take a picture with Colt, and then I wanted to post it on social media, and you tag me, okay? That's going to make my whole week. So please do that. Thank you. That's all I have to say for the rest of the show.
Thanks so much, Meg. One last one. Joel Williams with an Australian 5, which I think is about 11 o'clock in the morning over there, for depending on where he's at in Forza Horizon 3. He says, I'm so excited for Starfield and can't wait to play Colt. I must know how much you're enjoying it right now. And then he goes, and all I can tell you is I'm playing the game, and I'll have a review out on August 31st. So, yeah.
That's correct. Not that long, guys. Not that long.
Yeah, not that long. Not that long. But, Meg, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Crazy show. You guys have been really great. And show. we are going to – I'm trying to find the button. We're going to get out of here. Thanks, Meg. I'll talk to you. Man, you take care of yourself working 7 days a week, dude.
Yeah, man. Don't worry about it. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Okay. You guys, everybody, enjoy your week. Enjoy the long weekend. We'll talk to you guys after the long weekend. And for those with early access, enjoy Starfield. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week.
See you, bud. Hey, Meg, get to bed.